Whoa. Hello, everybody. I'm here. It's time for the show. Are you ready? Let's fucking go. Jessica, the trans metal alchemist in the YouTube chat, says today is the final day of my work week. Hell yes. Congratulations. Also, what's up? Godless! And Roan, Bertram, and John in the YouTube chat. Hello. And I only see two people so far in the website chat, Decoy Duck and Nuvenal. What's up, y'all? 20 people in here. Drea, hello. Thank you. Appreciate you. I did add your subscription renewed earlier today, and I went ahead and put that on the donation goal. So we are trying to open the treasure chest. There's something new in there this time, and we just need $52 today to open the chest. We get to see what's in there. It's 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Where are you? Where are you that it's 40 degrees Fahrenheit? I want to be there. Hello, Viren. Yes, 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 yes. Loving the outfit. Thank you. Hello, Dally. What's up, Riffs? Yeah. It's like fully just a sheer shirt. Like you can basically just see through it. That's fine. Some different jewelry and stuff today. I went to the thrift store this week and I got a couple of new pieces. I haven't done the laundry yet. I need to wash them. But I did post some pictures on Fansly today. I'm gonna basically anytime I post on Fansly, I'm gonna do it probably on Wednesdays in collaboration with posting stream. So if you're interested in seeing the cute new finds that I got at the thrift store this week, feel free to check out my Fansly. With the temps these days, dressing light is in order. That's true. You know what's really surprising though is like polyester based goth clothes do hold a lot of heat. I don't actually know what this is, or is there even a tag still? This is 95% rayon and 5% spandex. I actually do think this is the kind of thing that does, I don't know, I can't remember. Does rayon retain heat? But yeah, so there have been times where I've been wearing fishnet, but I've been like hot because it's somehow holding in a lot of heat despite the fact that it's full of holes. Hello, Shakespeare. Welcome in. But yeah, it's been a little bit too quiet. Y'all, like my settings are the same as they've always been. There's nothing. Sometimes I've gone in and like boosted the gain, but this is like, I think I'm not really sure why, but like it's just a consistent thing where my audio seems to be quieter than average, but like it's showing me that it's peaking in the yellow. Like I can see it there. It's peaking in the yellow at about the same level that it usually does. Being goth in the summer sucks because black absorbs heat. That's why I'm a hippie in the summer and a goth in the winter. So this is kind of the new direction that I'm going is like, sure, I can wear this kind of stuff in my house. Like I can wear black in my house. There's an air conditioner and it blasts full bore. So not worried about staying cool in my house necessarily, but out and about in public, yeah. So I've been kind of talking about this. Rayon on its own is supposed to be breathable. I mean, it just says 95% rayon, 5% spandex. So I'm assuming that if it's mostly rayon, then it should be pretty breathable. Goth 365 here. Yeah, I respect it. There is something to be said that goth itself is a fashion that you can splice with other things. Like this is mostly goth, but it's still a little bit forest goth because I've got like some moss in here with a tooth, and I've got my rat jawbone earrings on. So, but the clothes that I got from the thrift store this week are like, I guess like almost bohemian, I think is a kind of style, like sort of earthy tones, or like so greens and browns and a little bit of like a dark orange, because I think a dark orange also fits into that kind of vibe. But basically what I've decided to do is pursue a sense of style, which is the first time I've ever done that in my life. But to pursue a sense of style specifically that is like a goth forest witch with park ranger vibes, park ranger accents. So I don't know. Maybe the park ranger thing is a little bit more just because I want clothes that are really rugged, and so I imagine the only way to do that is to get hiking clothes. Like clothes, I mean, that are like long lasting and high quality, and I could go hiking or gardening in and they wouldn't get destroyed. Oh, also I just learned how to put my hair up in a hair stick, which is why I have a hair stick at my desk to play with. A little wand, I guess. Not really. It's a little too short. But hey, if you don't have a wand, I need to get back to my wand maker guy and have him send me my wand. I think he did ask for my address, and I was just like, I don't know about sending my address over Facebook Messenger. My birthday gift from my wife was a lyocell / wool blend shirt that's very thin, and it's fantastic for summer temps. Yes. I'm still learning, you know? You read one thing that says stay away from polyester, and then you read another thing that's like, well, some polyester blends are made to be breathable and sweat wicking. And then I'm like, I don't even know if sweat wicking is the thing that I need because I don't sweat enough, I don't think. So actually, maybe what I need is clothing that will stay wet for a little bit longer so that will dissipate more of my heat. So basically, it's a nightmare trying to find any, like, specific clothing recommendations as a person who overheats very easily. I'm basically just gonna be playing a game of, like, try it and see what happens. Be like, okay, don't wear black outside during the summer. There we go. Easy peasy. You do want to wear darker-ish colors, especially if you're not wearing sunscreen, because here's another thing that I'm trying to do is take better care of my skin, and sunscreen is one of those things. So I am basically like, I prefer to just wear UPF protectant clothing. Like I have a couple of these. I think it's just been on my floor. I have like a couple of these shirts that are UPF protectant, so that I don't have to wear sunscreen or worry about whether I'm going to be taking sun damage through my clothing. But again, I don't think that there's any actual purpose in buying UPF protectant clothing. I think you should just get like tight weaves and stay out of the sun. Like that's Mixterius. Welcome to the chat. That's a great name. Polyester is such ass. I hate it with so much passion. It sucks, but also, like, a lot of clothes are made out of recycled plastics. And so, on the one hand, like, oh my god, I'm going to overheat. But on the other hand, hey, we figured out a way to recycle plastic. Cool. That's great, you know? I've been sweating so much this month, like a ham basting in my own juices. Visceral. I lost a few pounds. Yeah, just like shedding water weight, like going to a sauna. The combination of fabric, weave, and how it's made and materials make the lyocell and wool blend good for summer. Yeah, wool can be surprisingly cool, especially merino wool. Is that the words? It can be very good if it's thin. Hello, Nikki. Welcome in. 32 people here. We have 28 likes, which is pretty good. But if you're just coming in and you haven't yet hit the like button, please hit the like button. Most of the time, we kind of meander through conversation here. We talk about all kinds of different stuff. Maybe some of it is not of interest to you. That's fine. Just hit the like button before you leave. Plastic clothes sounds wonderful. Right, yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't know, are they going to be longer lasting in the same way that plastics are longer lasting? I feel like it's just a great way to create microplastics. Like, plastic thread is so small that I feel like it would be a concern of like, are we making microplastics? But I also care about that shit and other people don't, right? Like we also 3D print stuff with a regular FDM printer, which is the kind that's like, it's as though you gave a robot a hot glue gun, right? And it's just like squirting out a very thin line of plastic, which then cools down and hardens, okay? What you end up with is layer lines, which, like this, you end up with layer lines, so you get this, like, texture on there, which is not desirable for certain things. And some people are like, oh, I sand them. And I'm like, I would never, ever, ever sand something that I 3D printed. That seems incredibly irresponsible. And it is incredibly irresponsible, but people just don't think about it. Yeah, hooray for photo degradation. Like my skin, photo degradation. What just happened to my phone? The first time I freaked out about microplastics was in 2009 after reading about them in Derek Jensen's book, What We Leave Behind. It's only gotten so much worse. True. 3D printed clothes, Lamau. I'm sure somebody has done it. I've seen some parents will 3D print shoes for their kids. Obviously not the kind of shoes that you would need to tie, but like something more similar to a croc or a sandal, because their kids are just growing out of shoes so fast. But that's the closest thing I've seen to 3D printed clothes. Although I suppose I have also seen 3D printed chainmail, and that would be kind of an option to like, you could put them together into an outfit or clothing. Basically clogs, but worse for everything. Exactly. Yeah. I've resigned to the microplastics. They're everywhere and there's nothing we can do about it. That's just how it is now. Well, sure, I'm not like melting down about microplastics every day, but I am doing my part to try to reduce, or at least not knowingly add to it, right? Like that's the thing is, for me at least, once I know a thing, I feel compelled to change my behavior. And I think maybe that's part of why people just simply reject truth and facts sometimes, is because they know that if they accepted the truth, they would have no choice but to change their behavior, and they don't want to do that. But like, if I know that microplastics are bad for the environment and probably for us, it seems like at the very minimum, we are aware that there is probably an infertility things related to microplastics. We don't know like more far-reaching health issues that there could be, but like if we know, then okay, like I feel like I'm compelled to live my life in a way that at least tries not to add to the problem, you know? So I'm not saying like I think that it's a problem to solve. Like, I don't know that we're ever going to solve the problem of microplastics. I don't see how we possibly could, but yeah, no, basically, yeah, agreed. I've just accepted they're inside me. Like, there's nothing I can do about microplastics being in me. They're in my food. They're in... So, well, I guess, like, I do make some different decisions, but those decisions are also in line with other health things. Like, I don't want a lot of mercury in my body, for example. So I typically don't eat that much fish that could have mercury. I tend to prefer eating, like, you know, white fish tends to have less in it. Or like, if I'm going to eat a high mercury fish, then I will also make sure I'm drinking green tea, because it has been shown that like, it seems like green tea prevents mercury from accumulating in your body. So yeah, but I'll eat like shrimp pretty regularly, you know. I try to, you know, make sure we're getting lots of different food options, and seafood is always on the table. And so my choice to avoid mercury also happens to be a choice to avoid microplastics, because microplastics seem to accumulate like heavy metals and mercury and stuff in the higher food chain area. So if like a big tuna fish is eating a lot of smaller fish, that's why they have a higher amount of mercury. TLDR. 3D print a 3D printer. It's been done before. True, yeah, Nuvenal. Spreading, yeah, just spraying aerosols around for the sake of it, like Butters in South Park, because there's going to be pollution anyways. Wasn't the aerosols thing, like, that was damaging the ozone layer, but then the manufacturers themselves changed the chemicals in their products, and so the ozone layer is fine basically now, partially because of those institutional changes. I'm pretty confident that that's what happened. Correct me if I'm wrong. I eat so much tuna. That's fine, just drink green tea. And actually, really, like, you're supposed to eat tuna or like omega-3 fatty acid fish like twice a week is what's recommended by the American Heart Association. If you're going to eat it much more than twice a week, then yeah, I would recommend just like adding green tea to your diet. to prevent the accumulation of mercury in your muscles and your brain. The ozone layer arc gives me hope in humanity. It does, but, critically, that was not a consumer level change. And I think that that's something that we really need to keep in mind when we look at the ozone layer and that success story and go, yes, amazing, good. Institutional change, CFCs, John has informed me, CFCs were the class of chemicals that were damaging the ozone layer that were in these aerosols, which got banned. So that was a government change. Exactly, Decoy Duck. So yes, we can fix these things. We just can't do it all as individuals. Yeah, various governments mandated for the companies to get rid of the chemicals. There we go. If it's bad for business, we won't hear about all the actual negative ramifications of microplastics for a long time. Sure, in the same way that we knew, like, companies knew that lead in gasoline was bad for people, and they just kept doing it. And, like, that's happened with multiple different things, including PFAS, the forever chemicals. Like, I think it was actually the company 3M. I read this giant long article about it a few years ago, that they were commissioning studies about PFAS and finding that the more exposure you had to it, the more it was in your body. And, like, I don't remember what exactly the negative health outcomes are about PFAS, but, like, not good for you. And they've known about this for a long time, and they were, like, just quietly putting away information. Just quietly. Fuck, we knew about the climate change impact that the Industrial Revolution was going to have in the 1800s. I think as early as the 1880s, we knew that the environment was going to warm and that there were going to be climate impacts. And the companies are just like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, recycling for us proles is is a feel-good measure at best. Yeah, especially because we also know that most plastics do not get recycled. It's wild that they make decisions knowing that it's bad for people. Like, dude, you are people. Debatable. How do you think of these new YouTube guidelines where they can just casually ask you to hand over your credit card or ID because they think you're underage? Yeah, obviously not a huge fan of that. I was messing around and looked at the restricted mode earlier on my YouTube channel, and it was kind of surprising what they chose to leave up and what they chose to censor. Like, real weird, just real weird standards here. So obviously it's not good. I mean, it's part of this internet-wide crackdown on, I mean, it's like it's happening everywhere all at once, right? The Kids Online Safety Act in the United States, and then the whatever Online Safety Act they just passed in Britain, which the result of the one in Britain is that fucking Wikipedia is banned. Wikipedia is banned in Britain. And I know that, like, you know, Lamau, whatever, this will be great for English teachers who always tell their students, like, not to use Wikipedia as a primary source, but that's bad. That's fucking bad. And, like, before I moved away from Kansas, a law passed a couple months before I moved that was like, you have to provide your ID to watch porn. Obviously, you just got a fucking VPN, but, like, I mean, the porn websites, in particular, the one that I frequent, if I bother to watch porn, the website itself wasn't even, like, available. They weren't like, oh yeah, provide us your ID and we'll let you on. They were like, we are simply no longer going to show up in the state of Kansas. And I think that it's in, it was in Texas too. So it's like porn isn't banned, but it is barred behind an ID. And because these companies don't support that action, the companies are simply not allowing their product to be available in that state. What they did recommend, like Pornhub, for full disclosure, what Pornhub recommends is a device level identification of some kind. So, like, this is my device. It's what I carry with me all the time. So, if the device, if I could have some kind of verification of my personhood on the device, then the device could communicate with the website. Like, yeah, this user from this functionally IP address or whatever the functional like equivalent is on a phone, from this device ID, this person is of age to watch the content. That is a solve for the porn thing to some degree. The problem, of course, is that under the guise of protecting children from adult content, which, like, I feel like everyone from before the age of the internet has a story of, like, finding their dad's porno mag or finding a porno mag in the woods, or their friend at school stole a porno mag from their brother. Like, I honestly don't fucking care that much about, like, and when I say kids, I mean, like, of course, it's typically going to be kids who are, like, in the early stages of puberty or whatever. It's like, it makes sense for them to be curious about those things. And I feel like it would probably just be better if we satisfied that curiosity in an age-appropriate way, rather than, like, the system we have where we prevent them from any even remotely taboo knowledge, which just creates more curiosity, and it just causes them to do more risky behaviors. So just from a strictly harm reduction standpoint, I think that there is a better way to handle this. But, yeah, so because the problem is, of course, that even beyond that issue, like, even if you are the kind of person who's like, yeah, we should make sure that kids never accidentally see their dad's porno mag or whatever. Like, okay, well, in that situation, we understand that it's the dad's responsibility to put his porno mag away. And in the same way that it should be a parent's responsibility to make sure that their kid doesn't access porn if they don't want them to access porn. But anyway, furthermore, the stretching of the definition of explicit and this idea that simply having knowledge of queer people and trans people is going to damage children in some way, which is obviously the situation we've been in. The Don't Say Gay bill passed in Florida like 2 or 3 years ago now. It's been a while. And, yeah, like, there's just a clear, you know, like, it's one of those give an inch, take a mile situations. And then we have now these companies now restricting what games are on their platform. Like, Itch, I don't think Steam has, but Itch has started, like, delisting games from search because, or, like, de-indexing them or whatever, because they are so not safe for work content and also safe for work queer content because of Stripe, the payment processor, saying that they will not support queer content anymore. So, like, yeah, these private entities, the payment processors themselves, having enough power to decide what art we have access to, like literally whether or not we can buy it or whether or not we can even see that it's in the store, being dictated by a third-party payment processor. Steam has too, but not to the same extent. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, obviously it's very concerning. And, like, YouTube, like, okay, and I want to be clear. I know that there was some chitter chatter about a boycott of YouTube today. And the earliest tweets or anything that I've seen about it are from yesterday. So I do support the idea of doing some kind of YouTube boycott where we show them, like, hey, fuck you guys. This isn't cool. Like, this is them trying to cooperate with laws without the law having even really, like, passed in the US at least. What did you say earlier? We don't say porno anymore. It's not the fucking 70s. Well, part of what I'm trying to say by saying porno is I am trying to evoke this I feel like it is just a completely normal facet of American society that teenagers and preteen boys will be like curious about porn and will stumble on something, on some physical media. And I feel like that's just a pretty normal like coming of age thing. Rhett and Link talk about that in their, they had these episodes of their podcast where they were talking about sex because they both grew up in like a really sexually repressive religion, and their wives also did. So there's like this evolution that they've both had to go through as people and as couples. And part of that story is that typified American young boy thing where they just like get curious about that shit. And it just like the fact that there wouldn't be a moral panic, and there wasn't a moral panic about that, I don't think. Maybe there was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was there a moral panic at the time about kids stealing their dad's magazines? Like, yeah, sure. We all know that mystifying things is a surefire way to keep children from being interested in them. Exactly. The restrictions can actually also keep you from doing research for a school project, such as something like breast cancer. Totally. Yeah. No kidding. It's a literal trope in every teen movie or show ever made. Yeah, like 80s and 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, like it's a literal trope. Finding your dad's porno mag or raiding your brother's closet when he's out of town for the weekend. What was crazy to me was realizing the money connections behind forcing age or ID verification systems as a condition for using websites. Right, because isn't fucking Peter Thiel, who owns Palantir, one of the people pushing for this? So like they're preparing to create a legal problem so that they can sell you a product and you will be required to buy that product. Like I'm like, regardless of the situation, I'm gonna have to buy some product, right? In this situation, because like I'm not giving my fucking ID to all these websites. Like it's bad enough all the information that they already have on me. The last fucking thing I need is a picture of a fucking card that has my full name and address on it and my face getting like leaked. It's not acceptable. So I'm gonna have to buy a VPN, or I'm gonna have to subscribe to a service. Like literally, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember because it's been a long fucking time since I set up my phone stuff. But do you not have to provide some amount of like identification for your phone? Like it has to be in your real name, doesn't it? It's like a bill that they can send to collections. So they need information on you that they could send to collections. Maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like at that stage in the process, like when I get my phone or when I establish my cell service, if you must do it this way. But again, the problem is like, even though I am 30 years old and I can access this information regardless of whether they're blacklisting things that are completely safe for work, that doesn't change the fact that it's a harm for young people to not be able to access that information. Like, yeah, them trying to do a school report on breast cancer, or them trying to learn about safe sex practices, or trying to learn like whether they have been raped or not. Like kids don't know things sometimes, and like information on the internet that's like, don't let adults touch you, because we know at the end of the day, these Republicans and anybody else really who supports CASA, supports these restrictions, they typically also do actually support child sexual assault, basically. Like, because we know that the more you make this information unavailable to kids and young people, the more likely they are to be victimized and not be able to come out about it. Like that it will be ongoing, the abuse, because they can't describe it. So yeah, prevent them from even being able to access information online. Like, should someone be asking me to keep secrets? You know, even simple shit like that, like, is going to very quickly lead into like the websites that will be talking about that will also be talking about grooming and stuff like that, which will not be available to these people. And like, yeah, teenagers trying to figure out how to have queer sex in a way that is safe. Like, what are we going to do? Like, HIV is going to be even more of a resurgence. Like, I actually do think that we're in kind of a weird increase for HIV exposure. And a lot of that is just among straight people. I really think we need to bring back some classic, like, your dick's gonna fall off level scaremongering about STDs. Because I feel like it's only normalized within the kink community and the polyamory community to like regularly have very open conversations about barrier protection and fluid bonding and when was the last time you were tested. Like, I'm trying to imagine hooking up with someone who isn't a member of the polyamory community and being, or kink community, and being like, when was the last time you were tested? And then they're going to be like, what do you mean? Like, I just think your average person is going to be like offended by that rather than being like, yes, this is a normal part of being a sexually active adult. Anyway, Jesus, yeah, that was a whole. I pay for YouTube Premium every month, get fucked YouTube. Dude, I know, like, I wonder if paying for it means that I'm not gonna have to, I mean, I don't know, I've had to do a little bit of additional identity verification because I'm in the partner program, so. Again, this is not going to affect me, and that's not the problem. I mean, it's going to affect me again in the sense that, like, my content is being censored, which, let's take a look at that, shall we? We don't have to scroll through my whole page, but I want to show you, at least on Blue Sky, the screenshot that I took. Okay, so here's a screenshot that I took of, here's what the top of my videos page looks like on my YouTube channel with the restricted mode on, which you can access in the top right corner under your little settings menu. So my review for I Saw the TV Glow is still up. It says trans in the title. However, you will notice that my review of She's the Man and the Elliot Page movie are not on here. Like, most of the videos that I've made in the last 9 months are not on here. See, 1 month ago, 5 months ago, 9 months ago. So most of the videos that I've made in the last 9 months are not on here. The James Somerton video that I just made a week or two ago is not on here. However, we do have bisexual versus pansexual on here. We have a video about Lady Gaga talking about her alleged penis. Okay. Trans woman tells trans men to shut up. Brianna Wu. Make Harry Potter trans. So Elliot Page in the thumbnail there. This is a dead or dying bird, because this is about bird flu. So that's interesting that they kept it in there. And then a video about schools giving out transgender operations to kids. So I think that basically what I'm finding interesting about this is that it's not like all trans content is being censored, or even all content that references genitalia or sex being censored. I'm not sure what it is about these other videos the last year that have been getting them removed more consistently, but it's interesting, especially because, like, a lot of the content that is still on here is like the more explicitly political stuff that we were doing, and like only one. Oh, and also, like, my Will and Harper review is not on here. Like, they censored my Will and Harper review. So, like, of the several movie reviews that I've made, or reviewing a documentary or whatever, only one of those, like, 5 or 6 videos. Oh, and also my video about how to deal with homophobia in the apocalypse has been censored. So, yeah, of the videos that I have been talking about media, and there's, like, fewer than 10 of them, but only one of them has slipped through, and it's the one about I Saw the TV Glow. It's probably being throttled rather than censored. So let me explain what we're looking at here. YouTube has implemented a restricted mode for users that it believes are under the age of 18. It is censoring LGBTQ content by making it unavailable to people on that restricted mode. This is different than YouTube Kids. This is aimed at preventing teenagers from being able to access not safe content, whatever that means, and it is also catching a lot of trans creators and queer creators. So what we're talking about here is not that my videos are not succeeding in the algorithm. What we're talking about here is my videos being not visible on my own channel when I opted in to the restricted mode to see how it would affect my channel. And the way that it has affected my channel is, like you can see right here, my videos are just not on here. Like my movie reviews, except for I Saw the TV Glow, are just not on here. So that's really interesting. What's up, Xena? Welcome in. Is Blue Sky a good website to join? It's a very politically active place, but there's also like these feeds. So I can go into a feed that's just like all gardening content from people that it's not like this is a list of people I follow. This is just a subsection of the website where I can look at exclusively gardening content, you know? So it's about how you use it, you know? You can use it in a way that makes you feel good, and you can use it in a way where you are staying aware of what the news is like and you hate that, so... Or I hate that anyway. Yeah, and it's true that, like, some people are going to be sending their dead name in order to access these websites or whatever. Is it better than Twitter? Well, there's fewer neo-Nazis on Twitter, but it is still very, like, we're upset all the time about politics and discourse. At my Pride production, we had an educational presentation on navigating life, love, and relationships when you or someone you love is HIV positive. Yeah. And, like, obviously that stuff tends to matter more in the queer community, but I honestly think that because of the fact that queer people tend to be aware of these things, I honestly think if HIV makes a resurgence, it's probably going to impact straight people more. And especially if we continue underfunding and removing sex education and crack down on kids even having access to this information online. Community education, super important. Peer-to-peer, trans-to-trans. Yeah. And, like, I also, to some degree, feel like I don't know how much this is going to personally affect me, these crackdowns at YouTube, because I don't really make content for teenagers. In fact, I would probably say that most of my content is not really that appropriate for teenagers, interestingly enough. Well, I don't know. Like, I guess obviously I've been changing what is present on my channel, and, like, obviously there have been times where I have made specifically educational content that could benefit teenagers. So I guess one thing I could do is check and see if any of my educational videos have been censored. But nowadays, I guess I don't know how to describe who my target audience is. Who is my target audience? If my videos, not the live streams, if my videos are now, like, queer and trans movie reviews, who is that for? Is that for a queer audience? Like, am I basically just making content that only queer people are going to enjoy? I don't know. I definitely do wish Blue Sky didn't treat all Palestinian fundraising as spam. Yeah, that is a trick. That is something that they're doing over there that I think is quite nasty. Have there been any updates today on the martial law situation? Oh my god, Gayfesh is not here, I don't think, right now, but we didn't even talk about we're declaring martial domain on Gorman. We were talking about Andor this week. We've been doing Andor Season 2 on our podcast, The Many Worlds Hypothesis, which is on Gayfesh's YouTube channel. And yeah, we talked about the Gorman genocide this week. It was brutal. There's a person whose whole shtick is showing her X identity group friends, X movie, somehow related to them, but I forgot her name. I know who you're talking about, and I watched one of those, or a couple actually. She's like, I made trans women watch Mrs. Doubtfire. She's called Evasive. I made trans women watch Mrs. Doubtfire. There's also, like, I made trans men watch She's the Man. Couple good videos. She Who Knows No Name says, your videos are for me. I am the target audience. I am the only target audience you need. Definitely. Just play my videos 24/7 and watch them all the time and press the share button constantly. The DC situation? Yeah, the DC situation. I'm like, I saw, like, oh, he's bringing in the National Guard, and I saw a lot of conversation about it yesterday, but I haven't seen any conversation about it this morning. I've been reviewing Star Wars stuff with my friend just for fun. That's basically what I'm doing with Gay Fashion Demon Mama on the podcast, is like, technically it is like an obligation that I have agreed to, but I am doing it because it's fun to talk to my friends about TV shows. So. Emery says, I definitely think that it is important for teens to be able to access you might be behind, so I might be responding to you and you won't know that I've said it until like way later, but I definitely think it's important for teens to be able to access some types of NSFW content, as it isn't necessarily inappropriate to view that stuff, but adults shouldn't be interacting about those topics with teens unless they have evidence-based training on how to appropriately engage with teens about those topics. I love you. Also, that is an insanely impossible thing to enforce unless you're going to start giving every parent evidence-based training on how to appropriately engage with teens. Like, obviously, the adults in their lives that are most likely to talk to them about those topics are their parents, and most parents are not given any kind of evidence-based training. So, like, I can agree with you that most adults should not be engaging with teenagers willy-nilly about sex or any topics like that. Like, obviously we need to be careful about grooming and everything, but like, I have no, like, in what world, like, how many adults that a kid interacts with are going to be likely to have training and specifically evidence-based training for what's age appropriate? I mean, like, this is why why I'm cool with the idea of having sex education in school, where, like, ideally, like, my health teacher, who I did sex ed with, I guess I did sex ed multiple times in school. Like, I did it as a elementary kid, and that was mostly just, like, here's boys and girls' bodies kind of things. And then, like, again in middle school, and then again in high school. And I think twice in high school because I changed schools, and I ended up taking a health class and not just, like, receiving sex ed as a one-off, which is what it had been before. But I did properly a whole semester health class, which was great. Actually really enjoyed it, and the teacher was great. And so, yeah, like, I mean, I'm kind of, like, on board with continuing to have sex ed in schools in that way. But, like, yeah, just think about it, thinking for a moment that the idea that, like, parents are in general going to have evidence-based training for how to talk to their kids about fucking anything, much less about sex education, is, like, unlikely. I shall share it via email constantly between my hundreds of addresses. I shall make 1,000 email addresses just to share the videos. You know, I actually do think that might help the channel. Like, I think that any shares that it can clock are good for the channel. Oh, by the way, there's a poll today. I don't know if you guys knew that there's a poll. And if you want to, you can go to my YouTube channel on the posts tab really quick, and you can vote. I was curious, what is people's favorite pride flag that's kind of a more overarching pride flag? So, like, there's the regular traditional rainbow. There's the progress pride flag with the triangle part. Oh, I didn't even grab a version that has the intersex part over here, although that is the most up-to-date version. And then trans flag. and then other, like, to allow you to comment if one more specific is your favorite. Because maybe you're like a really big fan of the lesbian flag, or maybe you are demisexual and you really like the demisexual flag. So, but I was just like, let's do another poll for fun. Also, for my members and my patrons, and I don't normally plug those things during the stream, but I did just post a couple teaser paragraphs from my Mulan video that I'm almost finished working on. Or at least I'm almost finished with the script. Hopefully the video part should take a lot less time. But yeah, if you want to go to my memberships posts on YouTube or my Patreon, I came from the poll. Nice. Yes, so it's working as intended. That's the goal, is that people will see the poll and they'll go in and they'll be like, whoa, this person's live. What? Crazy. What's up, Young? IMO biggest issue isn't that we haven't determined how to do these things, it's that conservatives' entire disdain for all education leads to people being totally just brain rotted. That's an interesting point. I mean, I am guessing that you're talking about our, like, sex ed conversation, so that, like, yeah, the problem is not necessarily that we are not doing sex ed correctly. The problem is that any amount of sex ed is a problem to conservatives. Technically the OG rainbow. I know. I didn't see. I see. Okay, you will see that I said regular rainbow and not original rainbow, because I know that the original rainbow had 2 more colors. You can't get me on a technicality. Sorry. Sometimes like y'all get a little bit pedantic and I'm like, I already fucking thought of that. And so I feel like I have leveled up in pedantry. It's just a fun little competition sometimes. Lesbian flag enjoyer here. The pan flag is also pretty good. The good color selection and contrast. Yeah, sure. The pan flag has got some nice bright colors. Reading the poll explains the poll. Oh, yeah. That, I don't know if we talked about this already, but I'm just gonna mention it again because I thought it was amusing. And I actually told Arden about it because I thought it was so funny. I posted a poll on Sunday that was, have you been keeping up with US politics lately? Just curious what y'all are up to. We're going live in an hour. And it's like, okay, how attentive to politics in the United States are you being? Have you been keeping up with US politics lately? Have you been very attentive? Have you been paying some attention? Are you completely checked out? Or secret fourth thing, which I just feel like it's good to always have a fourth option for people. But what happened was I very deliberately phrased this question in a way that does not preclude you from answering it if you are not American. I was just like, have you been keeping up with US politics lately? Which means that you could be from somewhere else and say, just how attentive are you being? But multiple people went in the comments here and told me that they voted secret fourth thing because they're not American. Like, look at this. Secret fourth thing, not American. Secret fourth thing, not American. Secret fourth. Okay, this one was someone else who had a better reason. Like, they just moved. Number 4, I don't live in the US. Yeah, so I just thought that was funny. And Arden thought it was funny too. It's like, people are... I really don't know. Is like, is it like silliness? Or is that like earnest inability to functionally read and comprehend the Oh, look at that. The little graphic just popped up. And then I always notice it right as it's leaving. The little graphic that I have that comes up here that says like, subscribe, hit the bell, join Patreon. Wait, what was the poll? The poll was, have you been keeping up with US politics lately? Wait, I have a rewind button. True, you do. Do. Imagine not being American, LOL cringe. True. As a dirty straight, the straight ally flag goes hard, I say. Is that the one with the A is a rainbow and then the sides are like black and white stripes? That's the ally one. I feel like it's a pretty decent. I think non-Americans are so used to answering that by default since a lot of Americans assume everyone else online is American. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like fucking read, dude. I presented all the words to you. Like, there was something else that happened recently. Oh yeah, when I posted my James Somerton video, I did mention in it that I'm like, oh, this is old news. I'm only just now hearing about this. And someone in the comments was like, ugh, God, this is old news. Like, and I was like, yeah, I said that with my mouth, like in the video that you ostensibly, like it was right in the first like 30 seconds too. I want to see if I can find it. I have one daughter. I understand that is she by the same father. Lukey posted an extended version of I Have One Daughter, and I listened to it earlier today. That was like, you nailed it. YouTube was like, hey, do you want to listen to this song? And I was like, fuck yeah, I do. But now it's stuck in my head again. Yeah, this person said, has this been doing the rounds again or something? Didn't precisely this wedding photography pivot already blow up a couple of months ago? And I was like, yeah, I did say with my mouth during this video that I missed this news when it came out earlier this year. Reading comprehension, my man. You should put a little snowman at the bottom of every poll. Is there a joke that I'm not getting? Is that what the secret fourth option just should always be? The secret fourth option is snowman. Do you want to build a snowman? Come on, let's go and play. Conservatives don't have anything to add besides trying to limit science. There are no valid criticisms to sex ed education experts present. Exactly. Yeah, but this is like the group of people in our country that do not give a fuck about whether things are true or whether they are effective. Like, I'm always referencing Lindsay Ellis when I say this, but like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't know what video she used a clip of that song. But that's all I've ever heard of that song, and I just always think of Lindsay. Someone asked me earlier if I would join Nebula. I would, and I do think that my content now, like the new content that I'm making, I think is in line with what they do on Nebula. However, you don't get on Nebula by asking. You only get on Nebula by being recommended by someone else. And I don't know if I know anyone who's on Nebula who would be willing to be like, yo, we should add this person. Like, keep in mind, you guys, that every person that gets added to Nebula, because Nebula is worker owned, so everybody who has their videos on Nebula is a part owner of the company. So anytime they add someone new to the company, they're splitting revenue with another person. And like, if it's a really small creator like me, then it's very likely that I'm not actually bringing a ton of value to their platform. Like, you know, how many people who watch me who don't have Nebula now, importantly, would get Nebula if I was suddenly on there, right? Like, how much value am I bringing to that company compared to how much they're now going to have to split their income with me? So just from a, you know, and I'm just being like realistic, and I'm trying to be like kind about it, just like that there are business interests at play here. And so if someone wanted to vouch for me and get me to join Nebula, sure, I would be more than happy to accept. I think that would be great, actually. Probably be a huge benefit to me, but I don't think it's going to happen. So it just doesn't make sense from it's just like a business decision that doesn't make any sense. If I grow my channel to 100,000 new subscribers, maybe it would make more sense. And the channel is growing, which is great. Not having to pay attention to US politics is a privilege we don't get these days. True. Yeah, I remember being so excited in January 21 to not have to care who the Deputy Attorney General was anymore and be able to go back to hating Justin Trudeau and Doug Ford full time for a bit. Fair enough. I don't foresee anything that would convince me to subscribe to Nebula. See? It's fair. And I get it. I'm also not subscribed to Nebula. What were you saying about a charity stream Friday? Ah, yes. There's 50 people here. Hit the like button if you love the Trevor Project. On Friday, we are going to be doing a charity stream with Alec Gunter. And y'all remember Alec. I think that I've done stuff with him before. I can't remember what it was, but Alec is a cis guy who's a super strong ally. He's a super buff dude who you may have seen in Ohio. He was testifying on behalf of trans people, and he was wearing a shirt that was basically like, "You don't like these colors, I'll help you move," and it was the trans flag. He's just a really good guy, and he has organized a fundraiser for the Trevor Project this week on Friday, and there's going to be other streamers as well. Conyer is supposed to be there at various times of the day, so I don't know if I'm going to be on at the same time as any of these other people, but these are the people who are going to be there. It's going to be Surus might be there, but might not. Shark Zero will be there. Riverboat Jack will be there. Conyer, a few other creators that I don't know, and it's going to be just like an event that'll go on for a while on Friday, and I will be on in the early afternoon, like maybe around 12, between 12 and like 3 o'clock my time. Who's Conyer? Conyer is another non-binary streamer. If you don't know who they are, that's fine. Frida Fuller, I'm gonna assume that you're manifesting someone donating me $30, and I agree. Let's manifest that together. If we get to the stream goal today, we will be able to open up the treasure chest and see what's inside. And to do that, we need $52. $52 to get to a total of 100. Manifest. Someone give me $30. Okay. Who's hosting the stream? That will be Alec. I think that he is expecting that other streamers will stream concurrently, but I don't ever do that when I join someone else's fundraiser stream. It is not my habit. So I will just let you know on Friday when I join his, and then I'll send you over to his stream. And if you want to donate, you should. That would be great. You know, we want to support the Trevor Project, especially in this day and age. Guys, okay, this is like sad. I know someone who is trans and who has a trans kid, and that trans kid had 2 different suicide attempts this summer. So the Trevor Project is really important. We really need to make sure we're supporting any efforts that will help the trans kids, because even when you have fully supportive parents who are making plans to get you out of this shithole country, even those kids who have like fully supportive parents who are getting them the medical care that they need, who are planning for them to live a long, healthy life, like even those kids are vulnerable to suicidal ideation. So we want to support the Trevor Project. And I will be also on Takis tomorrow. That's not related to a fundraiser in any way, but I believe that we will be on Takis tomorrow. That must make you feel so helpless as a parent. Yeah, totally. And like, they didn't even post about the second one. Like, they didn't even post about the second attempt on their private Facebook or anything. It's like, I didn't even know the second attempt until just yesterday. But that's crazy. Yeah, for them to, and they're in a situation too where they're like trying to get out of the country, and they were planning to be out of the country by now. But because the dollar is fluctuating in its value globally, their income as it relates to this other country they're planning to move to has been fluctuating, basically. So they no longer meet the income requirements to be able to use the particular visa that they were planning to use. So it's just fucked up on so many levels. They're like, now they're thinking like the earliest they're going to be able to get out is April next year. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a family that is like, it's 2 trans parents and 2 trans kids. It's like fully, like the granddad isn't trans, but everybody else is. And it's like so fucked up. There's a few things on Nebula that I do want to watch, so I pay for a month and then leave. Fair. Fair enough. What did someone say earlier? To the person asking about detransitioners. Was someone asking about detransitioners? Who asked about detransitioners? Was that someone in the YouTube chat that I missed? Ooh, we have 66 likes, which means we're almost at 69. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, someone is asking about detransitioners. No one seems to be talking about the bulk of people who revert to their gender assigned at birth and don't make it trans people's problem. Most people who stop IDing as trans either know they made an informed choice and they were wrong / changed their minds, or they're not trans as much as back in the closet for whatever reason. Well, yeah, actually the majority of people who stop identifying as trans go on to retransition later. So actually the majority of detransitioners are trans people who just desisted temporarily because of like family pressure and stuff. And then, but yeah, like of the percent of detransitioners who actually are not trans, the majority of those are either like non-binary or are otherwise queer, and they're cool with trans people, and they're cool with the fact that they just went on a journey that didn't end where they thought it was going to end, and that's fine. Like a minority of a minority of a minority of a minority are these detransitioners who want to restrict access for other people. Later, cynical. Have fun. This is why I treat any transphobia as an attack on my child, whether or not it was meant to be, because it is, and I treat it with the exact contempt it deserves. Shout out Quantum Chaos. We did get to 69 likes. Ooh, that's nice. Thank you. The likes immediately translate into YouTube showing the stream to more people. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to click, but pretty much consistently we always get a couple more people in when we get a few more likes. So thank you for that very quick, easy, free support of the show. And thank you for spending your time here. Your time is not free. Your time is of value. So I appreciate you spending it with me. The detransition rate myth is exhausting. It is. But I'm almost... It's so funny. Transatlantic is tomorrow. I haven't been on Transatlantic in a couple weeks. And after having been on the other shows last month, I was on Skep Talk once, and I was on Matt's Hang Up one time. Oh my God, I'm like so looking forward to having rational disagreements with people. I mean, like, I get it. They're still arguing with me from a place that's motivated by emotion. They're arguing with me like I have the facts and they simply fucking don't, and they're still arguing with me, and that's fine. But at least we can argue about concrete facts, and people aren't sitting here talking about the pineal gland and dark matter and... Oh God. That shit was crazy. I'm not finding it scrolling up, but someone asked for your take on detransitioners and noted that conservatives use them as props for their transphobic laws and banning care. Yeah, it's just fucking stupid. Like all conservative myths built off hype and ignorance and conspiracy theories. That's true. Can I share something insane that I learned with you all right before stream started? I don't know how I don't know this information, or maybe this is one of those things that I've like heard about and then memory hold or something. Excuse me. But did you know that the Disney company murdered a bunch of lemmings? First, let's be clear on what a lemming is. I need a picture. Okay, so lemmings are these cute little rodents. They're little rodents. And at one point, Disney killed a bunch of them because Disney was making a documentary called White Wilderness, which is a documentary about wilderness, and they did something like they basically herded a bunch of lemmings off the side of a cliff, which is, if you've ever heard, and I hadn't heard this before today, if you've heard the idea that lemmings go into like a suicidal frenzy when they're like sexually prepared or something, like that they will run off of a cliff and kill themselves, that's because Disney herded them off of a cliff in order to generate a falsehood for their documentary, which is like diabolical, but it's also so pointless. Like, what was the reason for that? Why did you do that? Like, what was there any compelling reason? Were they just trying to make money? Is this yet again a money situation where they were just like, I bet if we did this, a lot of people would pay us to watch the documentary. People would hear about it and they'd be like, what do you mean the lemming mass suicide? And then they would go watch it. Like, so pointless. Why? I don't understand. Yeah, they died, like a whole bunch of them. This article says that they actually were thrown off a cliff by the Disney filmmakers. And I guess what they were filming was like them just like falling through the air. It's like, okay, they just threw a bunch of animals off a cliff. As far as I know, there was no reason given. They just did it because they could. I mean, like, I'm assuming it was to make money, right? Disney is top 10 of most evil corporations in history. Truly, yeah, like... Jesus. Wait, what about Maya Poet? I actually knew Maya Poet. Oh, did she pass? What's really odd is watching so many people who claim to have known her in the trans mask years are saying things that I wouldn't say were accurate. Oh, okay. They were pushed off the cliff with a board. There were about 100 of them. I have seen the behind-the-scenes footage. Wow, that's fucked up. What am I doing? What am I reaching for? I'm reaching for my Aquaphor. Part of taking skincare seriously is taking lip care seriously, and I chew on my lips constantly, so trying to take better care of them. Animals were just killed for no reason back then, and it was meant to be a spectacle, which is even more disgusting. Yeah, it's like, if you're ever sitting there wondering why there's a little thing at the end of a movie that says, like, no animals were harmed in the making of this movie, is because they used to just harm animals, and they just didn't care. Yeah, the natural predator, the board. There was a video game? What video game, Mabs? What are you talking about? Like a lemming-related video game? You were supposed to save them in the game, but the idea that they would blindly walk into danger is the main premise. Cute. Love that. Yes, more blood for the altar of capital. Cray cray. What's crazy is I'm actually excited to do laundry later, because it means that I get to start incorporating my new clothes into my wardrobe. Unregulated capitalism. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I was asking earlier, and I don't think I've learned anything about like. How about let's just look up DC. Let's just look DC. Yeah, there's the video of some dude who like threw a sandwich at some police and then ran away, and then he got arrested, I think. Oh, Maya is alive. We're just out of touch. Okay. She's recently become a prominent detransitioner, commending Trump on his executive order, speaking at turf events, encouraging parents to push back. Wait. Is Maya Poet the insane one who said something about like October 7 made her detransition? Is she the one? Threw a sandwich. Well, you haven't seen this video? Oh my god, please shut up. I don't want the sound. Thank you. Yeah, this dude, he's got a sandwich and he throws a sandwich at this cop and then they start chasing him down the street. Like, bye. Apparently, throwing sandwiches is a very storied practice. Man, where is it? Some guy was like, I went looking for instances, like historical instances of people throwing sandwiches, and apparently it's like a time-honored protest. Maya is Israeli. Insane shit. To be like, October 7 made me detransition. Transitioning is a luxury that we don't get to have while Palestinians are still breathing. Like, I don't know. Maya, when I met her as a young trans man in 2017, was actually who taught me about the ethnic cleansing and apartheid in Palestine. Fucking insane. It's so hard for me to respect any out proud detransitioners. Like, just don't. Okay. I found it. Randomly decided to look at the history of people throwing sandwiches. Playful gal socks cop with a ham sandwich. A spirited young woman here has fulfilled her life's ambition. She threw a sandwich in the face of a policeman. Miss Lucille Dowdy, 28, was hauled into court this morning. She had her explanation ready for the judge. It was worth it. I always wanted to throw something at a cop. Hilarious. Here's another one from 1938. It is said that somebody threw a sandwich into a crowd of brokers on Wall Street the other day, and they had to call the police to quell the riot. Okay, this is a whole thing. John Blair, 20, of Chicopee Street, was arrested at 1:52 a.m. yesterday and charged with disorderly conduct for throwing a sandwich at police. Blair threw a sandwich at police and ran, but was apprehended. Amazing. Is this at all related to World War II? I don't know. These have been decontextualized for me. Cows seem friendly animals, slow-moving and soft brown eyes, but when a dozen or so are standing in a semicircle around you five yards away with a thorn hedge at your back, it does not take long to remember that they are closely related to bulls. I threw a sandwich by way of diversion, but the cow which ate it evidently wanted more and stepped forward. Oh, World War I. Yeah, no, I don't know. There's actually a town in Massachusetts called Sandwich. I would not be surprised if there were multiple towns named Sandwich. This is from 1970 in England. Struck by half-eaten sandwich. Conflicting accounts of a struggle on board the Southern Cross at Melbourne after an officer had been struck by a half-eaten sandwich were told to Southampton magistrates yesterday after the vessel had docked in the port. So it's specifically like throwing sandwiches at cops is like weirdly common historically. When was this? This was from the Ontario Star, Canadian newspaper in 1972. Some thoughts on violence and law and order have been revealed by Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau and Justice Minister Otto Lang. The Prime Minister says one of his aims has been to remove the cause of violence by telling people that if they want change, they can do it through the democratic process. He's upset by the publicity given to what he considers to be minor events, like someone throwing a sandwich at him last week in Kitchener. Oh, that's very funny. You have to run away? Okay, well, have fun. Cops are trained that any threat that could possibly harm them personally are also threats to public safety because to them, a cop is synonymous with public safety. Yeah, it's kind of like the idea that if you, like, I don't know, that striking the king is a treasonous act against your country because the king represents the country. Like, yeah, it's real weird. Oh, I still need to read Sunrise on the Reaping. I haven't taken the time yet. The slap sound of a slice of cheese hitting the target is among the most satisfying there is. Yep. Is a pie a sandwich? No. Because a sandwich, the point of a sandwich is that you can hold the food, like that there is a primary option of holding the food in one hand and keeping a hand free for other things. A pie, I have eaten pieces of pumpkin pie this way, where you just hold it and you're like, but for the most part, pies are meant to be eaten with a fork on a plate, and therefore I do not think that a pie is a sandwich. What about a pasty? Yes, pasties are sandwiches. What's up, Ian? Sandwich is a social construct. Of course it is. That's why we get to have such spirited debates about what counts. Does a stacked open-faced sandwich have a not a sandwich threshold? Buddy, I didn't say... No. You just said pastry? No, baby. Pasty. Pasty. Or is even that pronounced... It's like a pasty, right? I said it right the first time, right? A pasty is a kind of... It's like a fried thing that you hold in your hand. It's bread on the outside and filling on the inside. A pasty, not a pastry. Those are two different things. Pies are for smacking Anita Bryant. True. A pie is defined by its ability to... Yeah, a pasty is not a pastry, right? Okay. Okay, yeah, so that's a different word. A pasty is something you put on your... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. We have some cultural education we need to do right now. This is one of those things that happens when you are completely walled off from other cultures. Let me just teach you real quick. Because this is called a pasty, or a Cornish pasty. It is a British baked turnover pastry. So it is a type of pastry, but these are typically savory. Typically, it's basically a handheld pie, like a handheld meat pie. So this is a pasty. A pasty covers your nipples. A pastry has bread and is something you eat. It's like, pasties are yummy. When the moon hits your eye like a big pasty pie, that's a yummy. True. Open-faced sandwiches play fast and loose with infinity. True. Yeah, don't eat pasties. That's not good. They're made of plastic and adhesive. Is a calzone a pie or a sandwich? A calzone is obviously a sandwich. Come on now. Pasty for taking down the mine. Exactly. You take it to work with you. What about a pasty that looks like a... Wait, hold on. I think those should have been spelled differently. I'm just going to eat glue. True. Pasties used to have a sweet end and a savory end. Do you mean that you would start to eat one side of the sandwich and then you would get to the other side and it would be like going through a whole like meal into the dessert? It's like the piece of gum from fucking Willy Wonka. What about meat pies? Are meat pies handheld? Calzone is a calzone. Calzone is a sandwich and a calzone. It can be both. I love how 55 people are in here and I'm just like talking about dumb shit that doesn't matter. Thanks for hanging out. There's 77 likes. We're trying to get to a total donation goal of $100 today. I stream twice a week, so that would be $200 a week if we hit the goal every time. I have a secret little treasure chest. And if we can get $52 more today, we will open the treasure chest and see what's inside. I'm excited to show you what's in there. It's something new that you've never seen before. So, do it. Oh, also text-to-speech is on, so if you donate on my website, it'll read your comment out loud. My robot is Oreo a sandwich? Yeah, well, isn't that what it is? Don't they even call it an Oreo sandwich? Is that not what is on the packaging? Chocolate sandwich cookies. That's what's on the packaging. So, yes. Sandwich. Calzones are an inverted pizza. Close. Calzone is a closed-faced pizza. Okay, I'll take that. Yes, a closed-faced pizza. What about cutie pies? Listen, I'm the cutest of pies. I'm actually almost on a, like, punk rock kind of look today. Almost. My little slightly messy hair. Is mayonnaise an instrument? Oof. If you slap it hard enough. No, I'm the cutest of pies. Well, you'll have to go to my Fansly account and look at the cute pictures that I posted today and figure out if there's any competition between us for who's the cutest cutie pie. Excuse me. I need to sober up and get back on my routine, TBH. Listen, routines are great. I like routines. Dude, I fucking so look forward to making tea in the morning. Genuinely, I'm like... My cat, like, wanted my attention this morning, and I was like, bro, you are keeping me from making my tea right now. I'm gonna give you the love and attention that you want because you're a baby and you need it, but, like, Jesus. I was ready. I don't even have caffeine withdrawals. Like, I don't even drink very caffeinated tea. I just wanted to do the ritual and then make the tea and drink it, and I did, and it was great. Mayonnaise gets an unfair shake online. Listen, I didn't like it for a long time. I like mayonnaise now. I don't know what happened, but I definitely didn't like it before, so... It's a personal thing. Okay, what's the latest out of DC? Okay, DC Universe, that's not what I want. Lots of conversation about how, like, Trump is trying to say, oh, there's all this crime, but, like, violent crime in DC is down the last few years. People in Europe buying retired American police cars. Well, you know, enjoy. Even physics doesn't support mayo. It is hard to do a good mayo if you're making it from scratch. Okay, I'm just like trying to see if there's literally any information about what's going on in DC. You know, like, oh, they announced we're bringing in the National Guard, but like, what's actually happening on the streets? Is there anything notable going on right now? Or are they just standing around? Are they like clearing homeless people's property out of the area? I don't know. I'm trying to find out. I'm just not really seeing a lot about it today. Oh, I started making my own matcha at home. Ah, that's nice. Just do nice things for yourself, guys. I feel like it's been a little while since I've been on my, like, better yourself arc. Like, I don't know, I was depressed a little bit. And then I feel like sometimes it comes across a little sanctimonious. But, I mean, genuinely, even if you just do small things, I've been having a hard time getting myself to shower. And I still have a difficult time with that. But I'm making it better by... I got a really beautiful shower mist this week, and so I'll spray, and like it can smell really nice in there. I'm probably gonna buy new light bulbs so that I can have a different color temperature in there, or maybe less bright or something. I wish I could do candles. I just don't really have a good place in my bathroom for a candle to sit without actually burning shit down. So, but yeah, just like make things nicer. You'll be so much happier, even if just like in your own house, if you just decorate the way you want to, if you just do things that you like and that are nice, even shit that doesn't have a purpose. Like, there doesn't need to be, like, okay, in my office, I've got shit all over the walls, but I need that to sound dampen so that I don't have a bunch of echo in here, right? Like, that makes sense. So I have realized that I just love it. Like, I'm just looking around at all this stuff and I'm like, it makes me so happy. And so I've just started doing that with the rest of my house. Like, I don't really have a great plan for my bedroom as far as decoration goes, but I'm going to just decorate it. Shiloh
has donated $20. Zero.
Thank you. That was no comment. Thank you, Shiloh, for the $20 donation. I appreciate that so much. That brings us up to a total of $68. That's almost nice. So, which means that we only need $32 to hit the goal of finding out what is in the treasure chest. Don't the FBI have better things to do, like release the Epstein files? Truly. I also haven't seen any movement on the Democrats from Texas thing. Like, I haven't seen much more movement about that. Showering is hard to want to do with this kind of heat. I just feel aggravated afterwards. Take a cold shower, or like a cool shower. Sweat mixing in with the water as I dry off is so demoralizing. Do it early in the morning then. Like, take your shower early in the morning before it's gotten hot outside. That's what I do, is like, I just take my shower in the morning. Garlic and dill? What about garlic and dill? Oh yeah, it's hard to eat straight mayo these days because you can just up your game to aioli. Yeah, just take a mayo and add garlic and dill. And maybe a little bit of lemon or something. Can someone please explain what the whole Texas situation is? Ah, thank you so much for asking. I would love to explain to you what is going on in Texas. So, the thing that's in the news right now about Texas, although Texas is always doing something fucked up. So, the House of Representatives of the United States of America has representatives from each state, in a way that is a little bit more mixed than the Senate seats, and it's a little bit more mixed than our electoral representation. So it's winner take all in most of these states. So Texas pretty much always goes, the presidency always goes to the red because of how that works. The Senate seats, the 2 Senate seats, are usually also Republicans, but they do have a few Democratic seats in the House of Representatives of the United States of America from Texas, because there are blue places in Texas which vote for blue candidates. Because of the way that the districts are drawn, that's why they have those Democratic seats. They're supposed to redraw the districts like every 10 years to, make sure, it's supposed to make sure everything is fair and they're keeping track of populations and like, more people moved to this city, so we need to change this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Supposed to keep things fair, right? Trump alluded to wanting more seats because they don't want to have any obstruction in the House of Representatives. And the Texas legislature has decided, Daddy Trump asked for us to redraw the districts. Well, we're going to go ahead and do it, even though it's not meant to be done for several more years. It's not supposed to happen for a few more years. And I actually think it might be against their constitution in the state of Texas to do it early. However, in order to proceed with the redistricting, there need to be a certain number of representatives present in Texas. Because basically, let's just say, for the sake of example, that the Congress, let's just say that there's 100 people who have been elected to be a representative. I don't know what the actual numbers are in Texas. I'm just saying, for the sake of example, for the sake of ease, let's say there are 100 people who Texans have voted for to represent them in the Congress in Texas. Now, in order for a vote to be valid on any particular issue, a certain number of those representatives have to be physically present. Like if I don't know what the numbers are again, but let's say if 10 people are missing, so you only have 90 people present, that might be enough to say we can't move forward with this vote because we're missing 10% of the elected officials who are supposed to be making this decision on behalf of the people. So in order to avoid this redistricting, Democratic lawmakers from the state of Texas have left the state. They've left the state in order to prevent any vote or any progress from moving forward at all, because there have to be a certain number of legislators present. And so that's what's going on. And Governor Abbott is suggesting that those lawmakers who have left the state are breaking a law of some kind, or trying to invent, there is a fine for being absent, and it's $500 per day maybe. So the Democratic lawmakers might end up owing a fine, but they also could technically fundraise to cover that fine, or people could voluntarily give them money to cover the fine. And if they accept that money, Governor Abbott has said he's going to charge those lawmakers with accepting a bribe. Just trying to make up any way to do political arrests, really. Political arrests, or force them to be present, because the Democrats do not have the ability to fight back. There are not enough Democrats for them to change the outcome of a vote if there is a vote. There are enough Democrats for them to deny the opportunity for a vote. So that is what they're trying to do right now, and they're basically trying to continue remaining out of state until the end of the legislative session. And then they go on a brief hiatus, and then they come back, and there has to be a new docket of bills. So they'd have to try it again later. So yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And also the FBI, I heard someone suggesting that the FBI was willing to cooperate with going and finding these Democratic lawmakers, but I haven't seen any more on that since then, so I don't actually know. I have seen Democratic governors saying that they will not cooperate if anyone goes and tries to find these Democratic lawmakers. Like, I think Pritzker from Illinois said so. It doesn't seem any different from a filibuster to me. I mean, it's functionally similar. Yeah, functionally similar. Yeah, we have a big laws are made up moment going on in Texas. This is a tactic being used in a number of states for boycotting votes and by forcing a lack of quorum. Like, quorum is having enough people to vote. Quorum. So if you see people talking about quorum, that is like the minimum number of people who have to be present in order to move forward with a vote. I recently saw an uncited statistic that said that there are more registered Democrats than registered Republicans in Texas. Wouldn't be fucking surprised if we're being completely honest. Let me actually look that up. How many registered Democrats in Texas? Okay, so according to the Independent Voter Project, Democrats represent 46.52% of registered voters in Texas, and Republicans represent 37.75% of registered voters in Texas, and 15% are unaffiliated. So that's crazy. I wonder how the unaffiliated vote. And that's a lot of unaffiliated. 15%? That seems like a lot of unaffiliated voters. I wonder if the unaffiliated vote for. Because yeah, that's a pretty significant difference. Like 46% versus 37%. Like for there to be a 9-point difference, that's crazy. What are you talking about, lazy man? What? Goodbye, Andy. Have fun. I thought the Texas thing on this channel would be the law making it a crime to misrepresent your sex/gender. I just want to first of all say that I reject the premise that I must necessarily always be talking about trans people and trans issues. In fact, that is the news that I am avoiding the most right now because it is the most directly harmful to me. So yeah. And like, of course, if someone asks me, what's this news in Texas? I'm going to assume that they mean like a more mainstream thing versus like a very specific trans thing. But we've also talked pretty extensively about, have they finally moved forward with the whole it's fraud thing in Texas? Has Aaron talked about this yet? I need to kick Arden's ass and tell her to get the fuck out of Texas. Cause like, have they now gone and done the like, it's fraud? And so like, if Arden were driving and her and her driver's license says female, could she be arrested for having like an inactive driver's license or for using a fraudulent identification? What's the newest news? I'm not seeing anything. Okay, trans bathroom ban. I knew about them using emergency flood relief to push trans bathroom ban. Lazy man, I think that you might have had like a typo or something in your first message because I don't know what testing title is. It's been that way in Florida for a while. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't, I knew they were talking about, yeah, like we're going to make it fraud to use a different gender marker than the one that you were assigned at birth, but I haven't seen any movement on that this week. The turnout for the Democratic primary last year was way smaller than the Republican primary turnout. In Texas, specifically? Thank you, Richard. Complimenting my earrings. This one is my, like, this one has like a, it's my gauge earring, but it's also just got a little dangly moon, which is cute. And we're also sporting the rat jawbone earrings today, which I've got this one over here too. And just I don't know what this is called. These little beads, these little chains. But, and then this is a little bit of moss in a little bottle with a tooth of some kind. I think it's a mole, like the tooth of a mole, like the animal, but I don't actually know. It was theoretically going into effect this month, but obviously it's going to go to court maybe next August. Yeah, sometimes it takes a while for that stuff to go into effect, or maybe there's an injunction that's been placed or something. I want to say choker. Well, it is a choker, but I just mean, like, I don't know what these beads are called. They're usually a lot smaller, but it used to... You remember when you would buy a pair of thing holding on the label, there would be the little tiny bead thing, like little metal thing, and you'd like snug it together. And there would be like a little leather tag or whatever from your jeans. I have a whole bunch. Ball chain is the original name. Oh, that's what these are? Yeah, because... Let me try to reach this back here. Ball necklace is what we called them. Because, yeah, it's one of these guys. Okay, why are we asking about testicles now? What? What about testicles? Spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch. Thank you, Richard. I'm feeling pretty cute. I took some pictures for my Fansly account earlier, which is just, it's fansly.com/Luxander. I went to the thrift store and I showed off my new stuff that I got in a cute, almost revealing way. One of the shirts was pretty long, so I just wore that on its own in one of the pictures. So if you like thighs, if you think thick thighs save lives, go to my Fansly today. Psycho Plebalian, you're making me want boba. I've been really craving boba. I actually have boba pearls in my refrigerator. Like, I could make myself a boba, but there's a boba place that I've been wanting to try. I saw it on Instagram and I was like, ooh, I really want to try that. And I was gonna walk there. I was getting my car worked on recently and I was gonna walk there, but they just weren't open yet. I went and got my car done like really early in the morning. Boba is a salad. Okay, fascinating. Fascinating take. I have loose hematite beads that I could make into a necklace that size. Ooh. I love hematite. Did I tell you guys that I got some dandelion root to try it in tea? I haven't actually tried it yet, but I'm excited to try it. Did you get a job at Forest Service? No. So I was applying for a nonprofit and I did not get the job. It was apparently a very highly sought after position, which I was not really expecting there to be that much competition. But so what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to do a good job at my present job. And I'm trying to give more and more of my time to the line. We've got more stuff that we're going to be doing with the line. So I'm trying to come up with ideas for stuff that I can do with them. Yeah. And I'm working on my Mulan video. I probably should make like a nice big mood board of like, what are some things, like have a list of like, okay, here's the next 5 movies that I'm going to do a rapid fire response to. And hopefully only one out of those 5 gives me enough thoughts that I think to myself, oh, this needs to be a scripted video that takes more than a month. It's like, it's killing me. So I really would like to finish at least writing that this week. I just don't know. I'm hoping I can just sit down and fucking grind it out on like Friday. Does the Forest Service count as cops? I don't know. Dandelion tea is super bitter without much other flavor. Yeah, she told me that I would need to mix it with another tea. And I was like, well, I'm going to try it on its own at first because I'm curious what that would be like. I might just have like a little teeny tiny amount. Dandelion tea, dandelion root. I have made dandelion tea out of the flowers, and that is considerably less bitter than the other parts of the dandelion plant. If cops are pigs... Sorry, so assuming that somebody who works for the Forest Service is a cop, then cops being pigs would make park rangers wild boars. That's out of pocket. But I don't actually know how much park rangers have the ability to, like, enforce anything. I think they are a federal agency and allowed to carry a firearm in some cases. Sure, because there is a level of enforcement with their job, right? Like, I guess if I was going fishing or hunting and some guy was like, hey, I work for the Forest Service and you have to show me your permit. Or like, I work for ODFW, you have to show me your permit. I'd be like, bet, yeah, sure. And like that guy... If that guy has the chance at any time of his day to run into a poacher, I think he has to have a firearm. I could see that being the case. Tea is liquid salad. Okay, because there's also this debate about whether the... Like, whether tea... Okay, because there's tea... is like something that we have invented across the planet, like a beverage by infusing plant matter into a beverage, right? Some people will say, well, tea specifically is only the tea plant, and everything else, you could call it an infusion or an herbal infusion, but it isn't tea. I think that those people are assholes. Like, tea is tea. Because across this whole fucking planet, we have independently invented the idea of steeping plant parts in water to make a beverage. But then there's the very interesting question of, like, what is the distinction between tea and broth? Like, I think that there are associations, like, broth is savory, is salty, right? Whereas tea can either be, like, a bitter, unflavored thing, or it can have like sweetener and cream added, right? And then, but it's like, okay, so what if I just drink broth? Like, I used to do this, and I haven't done it in a while. I should make more vegetable broth and just do this, but for a bit, in order to get salt in the morning, I was drinking chicken broth in the morning, and I would heat it up, so it was heated chicken broth. Like, I was drinking it like a tea. Like, that, I'm sure people would agree is not tea because it's an animal product. But if it was a vegetable broth, yeah, like, is that tea? I'm drinking it in order to get salt in my body. Coke and Dr. Pepper is tea. I don't think that they involve any plant parts. Maybe they used to. Like, you could say, like, a classic root beer or a classic sarsaparilla is a kind of tea or an herbal infusion of some kind, but I don't think modern day Coke has any plant material in it. Can you make marijuana tea? I mean, I'm assuming that you must be able to do it. Like, will it get you high? Like, I don't know. I don't have any idea. Justice for fizzy tea. I think technically I do drink fizzy tea all the time because I drink kombucha all the time now that I'm making it for myself. Oh my god. I have already saved... Like, okay, I bought one SCOBY and it died, so that was like $10. I bought another SCOBY and it's alive, so that's $10. I bought a jar, which was like $10. So I'm about $50... Or sorry, no. $10, $10. So I'm about $30 in. I did buy some bottles as well. Let's just say that was another $10. So I spent $40 on getting all the stuff that I need to do kombucha. I guess I've technically spent a little bit of money on tea bags and sugar. And then I have had a kombucha. I think each bottle that I make is like 2 servings, but each bottle is probably functionally equivalent to like 1 bottle that I would get at the store. It's definitely more than a bottle that I would get at a store. But even if we just say it's the version that I get at the store, okay, well, I have saved, if each bottle of kombucha costs about $5, which it does, I have saved almost $25 because I have a half of one that I haven't finished. So I've saved about $25 in not spending my money. So it's gonna very quickly more than pay for itself, the kombucha. And that's fizzy tea. I can't imagine weed tea would be tolerable taste-wise. I mean, yeah, based on the way that it smells, I don't know. I sometimes put weed in chicken soup. Kind of tastes like oregano. Wow. Hails like tails. Hello. Who's getting high? I don't know. Someone was asking if you can make weed tea. Thank you, Sterling. I feel like I look fabulous today. I'm having a great time. Yeah, I've heard people do weed butter to bake, which is a better way of doing edibles, apparently. Apparently, fire police is also a thing. However, they don't really fit into ACAB since they mainly deal with securing fire scenes and maybe arson investigation. Yeah, we love the fire department. Fermented juice of grapes is better. You know, I didn't drink any alcohol for the last half of June or the entirety of July. And I did recently start drinking a little bit. I drank 1 bottle of wine and then another bottle of wine on different occasion, and my partner's bought a couple of beers, and I'm like, I might be off alcohol again for a little while. I don't know. It's just like, it's lovely. I love, like, it's wonderful to experience a really beautiful wine. I recently, like, the second bottle of wine that I had recently was like, it was so fruity and so delicious, but also sometimes I drink alcohol and I have a headache before the night is even over, and then like I'm like, I feel like shit the next day. I might be entering that time in my life where, like, not being hungover is better than being drunk. Is bong water weed tea? That is a cursed thing that you just said. Shakespeare says, yes, you can make weed tea and things. Very good stuff. Noah says, in legal states there are THC drinks, even THC-infused booze. Oh, okay, fascinating. Right, yeah, it's like, I figure you can take any plant, including cannabis, and steep it, and it will make a tea. But yeah, I think that the question being asked is like, can you make a tea from cannabis that will get you high? And I think the answer to that is yes. Get wine from Italy, you won't feel it so much. Oh, Sophie, the unfortunate thing is that I really love to buy local wine, and I live not in Italy. I very specifically am a local wine fiend if I am going to eat. I'm trying to spend as much of my money locally as I can, really. Oh, okay. Noah says that hops and cannabis and hemp are related plants, so you can do a lot of similar things with them. Oh, cool. Fire police have better expertise on what evidence relates to arson and how to collect it. Oh, cool. So much education going on about how to make weed edible butters stuff in the chat right now. You're spoiled for wine in the PNW. Yeah, no, there's plenty here. But I think the premise was that if I drink wine from Italy, it won't get me as hungover. So unfortunately, I think maybe just drinking white wine. Maybe I should try white wine because it'll have fewer tannins and maybe I'll get less hungover. I thought cannabis and hemp were like different sexes of the same species. So I believe that cannabis is the name of the whole type of plant. Hemp is the agricultural product of cannabis that results in a very fibrous plant, which then the fibers are used to, I mean, historically, they were very integral to making ropes and sails for the naval industry. And nowadays, you can make clothes, you can make paper. So hemp is a kind of cannabis that has been bred for fiber. And then, like, marijuana is cannabis that has been bred to have the, like, most impactful what is the word that I'm looking for? Psychedelic is not the word that I was looking for. Psychoactive effects. That's the word that I was looking for. Also, a $5 bottle of Italian wine is $30 in the US. True. Yeah, if I'm going to spend $20 on a bottle of wine, like, might as well give that money to a local farm. Oh no, who's talking to me? It was Gayfish. So, Young, I don't know if you're still in the YouTube chat. I think you're usually pretty active if you're in here, so maybe she's not in here anymore. But Young recommended like 7 different apps to use for hiking, or like a couple of them are different. Like one of them is to find places where you can go mountain climbing. Some of them are for mountain biking. One of them is for mountain biking trails. One of them is for running specifically. But man, they're useful. I'm like, oh, look at that. Like, look at all these places nearby me that I could just fucking go and start becoming a person who hikes. It's very exciting to me. I'm ready. I'm about to be one of the... I think I'm going to start waking up when my partner leaves for work, which is like pretty early. And I really would love to become a 6 a.m. person, but I don't think that I can become a 6 a.m. person so long as I'm sharing a bed and room with my partner, because I don't want to wake up before he's up for work. Like, that just seems rude. It deprives us of the opportunity to cuddle in the morning. So I think at the earliest that I can be during the week, at least, is a 7 a.m. person, and I think I might become that and start going hiking and stuff, because I think I'm physically well enough to do it. Faulty says THC is alcohol and fat soluble, so adult beverages and the chicken soup broth will work better to diffuse the psychoactive ingredient better than just boiled water. But the same amount will exist in water tea, unless it gets too hot and then starts denatured/destroy it. Cool. Early morning is dope, just gray world, no one around, and you have all the time to get stoned and drink all the coffee. It's at nighttime, I'm like enjoying myself. I'm like, yeah, this is nice. And I'm like, ooh, I'm watching this TV show and like, it's nice. And it's really hard to be like, I am going to choose to go to bed now, even though I know that early morning is dope. I love early morning. I mean, like, conceptually, I'm just not good at it yet. I'm just not good at early morning. It still this morning took me an hour from the time that my first alarm went off to when I finally got fully out of bed. Yeah, it's just hard. Being responsible is hard. I worked in alcohol sales. Beer has a 10% markup, liqueur has a 40%, and wine is 80%, and that's for domestics. Wait, so that's like... Is that just like... Is that just a profit margin markup? Like, just for the sake of making more money, they charge 10% more for the beer than it actually cost? I love my time alone, early morning or late night. Getting up early is harder than staying up late, though. See, exactly. Yeah, determining if you're physically well enough to be a morning person and hike is such a mood. I honestly think, and I think I may have had some post-COVID complication, like, because we had COVID in late September, and then I took myself completely off of exercise for several months, and then we moved across the country, which was an enormous endeavor. And then I was having a really hard time working out when I was trying to work out a couple months ago, and I'm finally starting to feel better again. So I wonder if I just had, like, my symptoms were worse probably because of COVID. Like, my regular chronic illness symptoms were made worse after COVID, and I think I'm finally getting over that now. I make mead in my basement. It's way too expensive to buy all but a fun beer now and then, and you can support local apiaries, which is super fun. I have wanted to make mead before. I might get into it again. Like, I did a lot of research before, so I might get back onto that research train. I make my own kombucha now. I'm considering becoming a sourdough person, because we bought a sourdough at the farmer's market, and oh my god, it was delicious. Oh, wow. 80% markup on wine. That's crazy. What if I bought my wine directly from a winery? Do you think it would be less expensive than if I bought it at the grocery store? I remember drinking mead at a high school party. I cannot even smell it now. Oh no! That happens when you're like, I'm a young person and I'm getting into this alcohol thing, and then you overdo it. I was the weirdo as a kid slash teen, in bed by 8 or 9 p.m., up at 5 a.m. I was a weirdo as a kid slash teen in the sense that, yeah, there was a period of time where I just... Okay, I was in, I think, middle school at the time, and I lived close enough to the school. Like, I lived far enough away that there was a bus, so I was taking the bus most of the time. But I also just knew that I lived close enough to the school that I could walk there. Because I was a little... I liked to fucking go places by myself when I was a kid. And so there was a period of time where I was waking up early enough that I would get myself up, get myself dressed, go to school, like walk to school, and then at the school watch the sunrise. I would get up hella early. And my mom hated it. Which, to be fair, it was kind of an unsafe neighborhood. But also, is it much of an unsafe neighborhood at fucking 5 o'clock in the morning? Is any neighborhood dangerous at 5 o'clock in the morning? Baby Squid says, I'm aging some mead right now. Started it back in November. Problem is, the yeast kept going longer than I had anticipated, so it's stronger than planned. No. Yeah, and I've heard some people say, like, that they would not ever drink a mead that had aged less than 2 months, because there's a big flavor evolution that occurs after you let it age a little. I'm still going. Okay, now we're back. Are we back now? Now we're back. Are we back now? Okay, it says it's back now. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm not sure what happened there. Hello? Are we back now? Hi? Okay, you can hear me again. Jesus Christ! That's fucking annoying. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I don't... Everything happened all at once. The IDF are gonna get me. Anyway, we were talking about mead. And making it. I was under the impression that you're supposed to, like, really hardcore sanitize all your equipment. Because, obviously, like, with honey in particular... Because it can have botulism in it, I think that you really want to outcompete any of the enzymes that are naturally, or like any bacteria that are naturally in the honey, because they can proliferate in a way that's really harmful. Like, you don't want to use honey as the sugar to make kombucha, because you will end up getting botulism. I do like the idea of making mead, though. Ugh. Man, I'm tired. Oh, you know what? That's probably because I'm a little bit overdue for my break. I take a little bit of a break in the middle of stream. If you want to wait about 5 minutes, I'll be back. I'm usually just going to go pee and refill my water and rest my voice for a minute. The botulism is also why you should never give honey to babies under 1 year old. True. Okay, so I am going to put on some music for you guys, and I'll just be gone for about 5 minutes. It's okay if you want to leave, but we have at least another hour of the show. I'm going to keep going at least for another hour after I get back. Although my friend who we're trying to get into World of Warcraft said that he was going to be available to play tonight, so I'm fully willing to just hop off stream immediately as soon as he tells me he's ready to play, because boy howdy is it exciting when you try to get your friends into WoW and then they finally are like, okay, I'll try it, and you're like, yes! This game that I've been playing on and off for 15 years! I've never had mead or kombucha. Oh, they're both worth trying. If you are an alcohol drinking person, then mead is great. And if you are a person who likes probiotics, then kombucha is great. Okay, where am I? Jazz Dog. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Hi, I'm back. Hi, everybody. I was going to write something, but it says be normal. How? Well, Art, welcome in. Great to have you here. Be normal. So I didn't actually need to turn that on. It's a new thing. If you're going to join the live chat, or if you're going to comment on one of my videos, it now has a little pop-up that says like, hey, here's the rules. And one of the rules, maybe even the number one rule, is be normal. Which, you know, it's nice to have it's nice to have flexible rules so that I can apply them as wanted. But be normal includes things like don't be transphobic, like don't come in here and harass me, don't sexually harass me. Like be normal also includes, yeah, like don't be a sex pest. But you know, try your best to be normal. Oh God. But thank you to you all who waited. No worries to those who left, who can't hear me right now. If you're just coming in, hit the like button. We just got done with our little midstream break. I'm planning on going for about another hour, probably around 5:15, 5:30. I'll get off of here because I am expecting my friend to be available to play video games with me today. And it's someone who we know who is in Kansas, and we didn't live in the same town as him, but we lived close enough. It was like a 2-hour drive. So we would go visit him, at least once a year. A lot of the time it was twice a year we would go visit him, and then he would always come visit us in the winter. So it is a little bit weird to be like, oh, we don't get to see our friend. Like, we saw him last summer in like June when he had his annual party that he had at his house. And then, yeah, I haven't seen him in over a year. So it's good to be able to, you know, hang out. I keep finding new things to put into /analyze for my final dissertation chapter. No, Byron, let sleeping dogs lie. But you're trying to get your PhD, so I guess you kind of have to explore every possible avenue. I'm a neurodivergent trans girl. Being normal was never an option. That's like a version of normal, though. Honestly, I think trans women are normal. I mean, some of you. Some of you are very unnormal, but the ways in which you are unnormal are not upsetting. At least not in the same ways. Maybe I should change it or take it away. Like, does it benefit? Is it actually funny? Like, is it a good thing that I have that on there, telling people to be normal as like the quote-unquote rules? What else did I even put there? Community moderation. Channel guidelines. Thanks for hanging out. Be normal. Questions welcome. Yeah. I think that's good. I'm gonna leave it there. Thesis is directly related to something my advisor's first grad student did a project on, so I kind of have to cover it. Oh, this is one particular aspect. You gotta go. You gotta go into it. I beg to differ, but hopefully I'm not upsetting. Yeah. So far, as far as I know, none of the trans women in this community currently have upset me in any way, shape, or form. I don't think. Are you aware of the very based autistic trans furry gamer known as Melodino Surname? Nope. Melody No Surname. Nope, I have not heard of that person. Melody No Surname. Melody No Surname. Never heard of that person before. Godless. I like that there's people in here from the Takis community. That's nice. Which, if you're looking forward to it, I will be on Takis tomorrow. It's less be normal than it is don't be actively antisocial. Yeah, when I'm saying be normal, I do mean don't be actively antisocial. That is what I am referring to. I am unnormal and intentionally upsetting. Well, get out of here. Just kidding. I did just recently discover a YouTuber who it feels like there's no reason for me to have not discovered them before now. Oh my god, I do not remember what they're called. What is it called? Oh my god, I follow too many people. Why do I still follow Syndigo? I need to finally unsubscribe from them. Who is it? Okay, so it's a non-binary person who does really intense drag looks. Oh, here we go. Queen Coke Francis. We just had to scroll on the homepage long enough to find a video. Queen Coke Francis. This person, who I've just discovered recently. And they also just did a video with, Dead Domain. I guess I'm gonna have to start watching more other YouTubers. I think I might dedicate one of my alt YouTube accounts to, like, following a whole bunch of media essay channels, so that I can make hot takes like, OMG, everyone is wrong about this one character. Yeah, I love Queen Coke Francis. They're very cool. What do you do when burnt out? Have you any advice? So I have been burnt out for a while, and I'm kind of finally feeling like I'm starting to get out of it. And some of the things that I have done are, I've tried to take as much pressure off of myself as possible while still doing a bare minimum of getting by, right? Like, I should have really cracked down on myself and made myself finish the Mulan script already. I should have had that video out like a week or two ago. But I'm trying to take a little bit of pressure off myself. However, I am still streaming regularly, twice a week. I'm still on the line as often as I can get on the line. So I'm still, like, attending to my basic level responsibilities. But what I'm actually finding is that taking some of the pressure off of myself is resulting in more things getting done that wouldn't normally get done. So I'm trying to spend less time on social media because I think that contributes to burnout. So if possible, and this is not something I've yet implemented, but something I would like to do is, like, I can give myself permission to get on Facebook or whatever, but I should set a timer and then stop after a certain period of time. Or, like, in the morning, I can scroll for a little while, but I'm trying to limit that and maybe even only scroll, like, while I'm doing my morning bike exercise routine that I do. So trying to get off social media has helped a lot. When you're on it, be willing to scroll past shit that you don't want to know about right now. I don't want to know anything about Palestine right now, so I scroll past everything that has to do with it. Except that I sometimes occasionally retweet GoFundMes, but I am not doing as much activism as I could be doing on that subject because it is re-traumatizing to see it all the time, and there's literally fucking nothing I can do. So I'm just trying not to look at it. I'm trying to have a mentality that's more like Lamau shitposting, but also just, like, not being involved in it very much, and then taking the time to, like, be involved in your physical actual life as much as possible. You know, if there's any craft you have not done in a long time and you want to reinvest some time, cook dinner for yourself, go out places where you want to go, buy yourself an occasional treat. But really, like, getting off social media and having, like, pretty good boundaries and limits around how much time you spend on that, honestly, I think is going to make some of the biggest difference. Why are young, lonely Caucasian teen boys and young adult cis men so easily sucked into the all-right pipeline? Oh, God. I mean, lack of purpose is part of it, right? Like, well, okay, so really what the answer is capitalist alienation. Like, what the real answer is, we live in an atomized society that's highly individualistic, and we do not provide community for people. We don't make sure people's needs are being met. And I mean we in this like cultural sense, like we all have to go to work at jobs that we hate, where we have no power. Like, we allegedly live in a democracy, but every single one of us, like, not every single one of us, obviously, I'm self-employed, but most of us have to show up to a petty dictatorship where we let someone tell us what to do all fucking day for not enough money. And we mostly give people a bunch of messages about how, like, oh, if you just do this, if you just do that, if you just do this, then everything will be better, which completely takes away the fact that, like, most of these problems are institutional, right? So, like, another thing I guess that has been contributing to my lack of burnout recently is also, like, having more reasonable expectations of myself, and like radical acceptance and stuff like that. So, like, this feeling that we're not good enough, it kind of, I think it sort of activates your fight or flight. Like, it activates some of your survival instincts. This idea that, like, you're not good enough at your job. You're not good enough at being a partner. Like, you're not calling your mom often enough. You don't weigh the right amount. You don't have the right amount of muscle. Even the ways in which you have self-appointed things where you're like, ugh, God, I never pick up my guitar anymore. God, I suck. Like, that sucks. I wish I picked up my guitar more. Even those standards you're setting for yourself, if you feel not good enough in every part of your life, like, that's really unhealthy. So you can't necessarily change what your boss is going to say. Maybe you perform adequately and your boss is just hard on you. Okay, you can't necessarily change what he thinks by working harder. Maybe your mom has always been a nitpicker and nothing you do is going to satisfy her, right? But you can, for yourself, set expectations that are reasonable and that make you feel like you are enough in some areas. And, like, I think that, you know, this ties into both of these questions, the burnout question and the why are lonely white men such a problem in our society. It's like, I think that, yeah, everything that you should be is always just out of arm's reach. Like, everything that you should be doing is you spend every day toiling for it, but you never feel like you have accomplished it. Or as soon as you accomplish it, there's some next milestone. So you don't even give yourself the opportunity to, for a moment, go, hey, I hit that goal. You know, like, ooh, I got to that number on the scale. Because maybe you lost the first 10 pounds, but now you're like, ooh, well, I should lose 20 more. Like, nope. So just little things like, so today, not today, but this week I went to the thrift store and there was this skirt that I really wanted. It was pretty much exactly the color that I like. It was super cute. It had like a cute little tie on it. It had fucking pockets, which I didn't know until I tried it on, but it was just a little bit too small. It was close enough that what I could have done is I could have gone, well, I'm trying to lose weight anyway. So maybe I'll get this skirt as like I'll be able to fit into this better once I lose a little bit of weight. Honey, no. That was a sad decision. Because, girl, I didn't know that fucking skirt had pockets. But I am making the choice to appreciate what I have, which means, like, appreciate my body the way that it is, and not treat myself like I am an unfinished version who's on my way to being my peak self. You know? Like, it's a pressure. It's a feeling of not enough. If I buy a skirt and I'm like, I can earn that skirt if I just lose more weight, no. And in fact, I think I'm actually about to change my entire framework regarding how I have been treating my body the last few years. Like, you know, I quit exercising when I got COVID last year. I started eating a bunch because I wanted to make sure my body had plenty of resources to fight it off. And now I weigh more than I have ever weighed. And I'm having a really hard time losing the weight. And I think instead of getting tripped up by that, I think I need to reframe it. And I think maybe you all should consider this kind of reframing for areas of your lives as well. Maybe I just need to accept that I'm a person who is at a new weight and that my body wants to stay at this weight because I'm having such a hard time losing it. Maybe I just need to go, okay, this is how much I weigh now. And my goal is now to look good, but to feel amazing. Sorry, I'm leaning down because I have an itch on the back of my leg. Yeah, so I think that in order to avoid this feeling of like, I'm not enough, literally every day living in my body, not enough because I have gained weight, I think that, yeah, I'm just going to go like, yeah, I want to look good. So let's start working out for building muscle again. Like, I want to look good. I want to be strong. And I, in all likelihood, will probably trim up some fat anyway, just by working out and increasing my metabolism through strength training. That's not the goal, though. It's like, I want to look good, but more importantly, I want to feel good, which means I want to be strong. I want to feel capable. I want to exercise in a way that makes my symptoms easier to manage. And I think that that's probably just going to be a healthier approach. I think I've also decided to come off of calorie counting. I think I'm going to try intuitive eating. I think I'm going to go ahead and still pay attention to how much protein I'm getting every day and have a protein goal. But, and like also I'm going to be reasonable. Like I'm not going to eat a giant tub of ice cream once a week or anything like that. So I'm not going to stop making mindful choices around food, but I do think I need to stop plugging in the calories because that has been very frustrating for me. So I'm going to try intuitive eating. If I'm feeling like I just can't feel full enough, I'm going to eat a fucking salad. I'm going to fill myself up with a salad and I'm going to occasionally eat a treat and just kind of see how shit goes and start working out for strength again. And hopefully this will contribute to a feeling like I'm just making healthy choices for myself instead of like I am trying to achieve something that I probably can't achieve. I look better than the number on my scale. Recognizing that is important, I think. Yeah. And I think that's another thing too, is like if I'm looking in the mirror and I step back, especially if it's early in the morning and I haven't gotten all bloated from eating and everything all day, I'm like, I don't even think I look bad. You know, like I'm looking at my belly and stuff and I'm like, I don't even think I look bad necessarily. I just don't like being a bigger person than I used to be. Which is really weird and frustrating to be like, I don't even think it looks bad, but I don't like it. Like, why do I not like it then if I think it looks fine? I guess I don't like it how it looks all the time, especially if it's like late at night and I'm full of food and I'm bloated and stuff. It's like, okay, I feel really fat now, but just trying to ignore that. Keeping to meal times works much better for me than calorie counting. Yeah, and I need to get better about being a breakfast person. I start feeling like shit part of the way through the day and then I'm like, why? And I'm like, oh, because I haven't eaten anything. I'm just not good at breakfast. Talking to myself as a friend can help with my mental state. Yeah, that is something that made a big difference to me when I had a lot of negative self-talk was like, would I talk to myself? Like, would I talk to a friend this way? If I was trying to be my friend, how would I feel hearing this information, this self-talk? Like, how would I feel as a friend to hear that? Like, would I want my friend talking to themselves that way? And that helped a lot. Some of these cishet men think patriarchy works for them, which leads to the far right situation. They're trying too hard to be a man, and even leftists do this. Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's like the idea that society should serve them, that to the point where it's becoming more mainstream, this idea that we should have one vote per household and like that the man of the household should decide what that vote is. Yeah, it's crazy. Is it that these people are hurting a lot and feeling insecure on the inside and powerless, and then they lash out because they want to feel superior? I think for a certain demographic of Americans, that's true. Like, I think some people have a proclivity for needing to feel superior to others. And for some people, it's like reactive because they are being treated as less than. I guess for a lot of people, it's reactive. Like even for men, like they are powerless at their jobs and therefore wanting to feel powerful over someone. So they're like, well, at least I'm not a woman, or at least I'm not black, or whatever. Like, yeah. Not changing anything else, but starting a daily routine of morning exercises has helped so much. Increased muscle tone, better general stamina, and less achy joints. Yet, I'm heavier again to the point I worry about breaking chairs. I'm very tall and very dense, but I feel so much better than before while trying to lose weight was my goal. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is I'm thinking I might stop looking at the scale, or at least accept that if I start exercising for strength especially, I'm going to gain weight. And I have pretty dense... I think that probably a big part of why I weigh as much as I do right now is because I have dense muscle. Like even... Okay, here's a freebie. I haven't worked out my biceps in like 3 months. And like, my biceps are just always... Like, to be fair, this is like... Some of this is fat down here. But like, my arms are just always big. So I think that that might be it. That there's just like a firm foundation of muscle on my body. Yeah. So I'm just assume if you start exercising that you will gain weight, and that you should focus more on like how your clothes are fitting and how you feel than strictly the numbers on the scale. It's just not a very good measurement. It's not a measurement of your worth. It's not a measurement of your progress. Like the number on the scale is not like a relevant factor about you. USS Salem wants to know, what about having typical masculinity? Is it good or bad? I mean, it's like what is typical? What are we talking about? It's like, are we talking about strength? Like, and like, are the qualities that we assign to masculinity, like, are those even masculine qualities, or are they just feminine qualities? Like if a woman can be strong in the sense that women, you know, bear and give birth to children, like, people qualify it as like, it's a different kind of strength. And it's like, is it? Like, I don't know. It's just the way that we qualify these things. And I'm not going to sit here and try to say like masculinity and femininity don't exist or whatever, because they obviously clearly have archetypal distinctions between them. But like, what fucking is even meant by masculinity? And are those traits ones that only men can have? Or like, when women have those traits, are they necessarily masculine? Like, I don't know, man. And like, are we talking about like jealousy, possessiveness? Are we talking about loyalty? Are we talking about protecting the weak? Are we talking about being a good soldier? Are we talking about being a good father? Are we talking about being a good pastor? Like, are we talking about being a leader? Like, what qualities go into masculinity as we're trying to talk about? Like, you know, like, this is why there's a qualifier that's called toxic masculinity. Is like, there are things about masculinity that are toxic, but those things would be toxic if anyone did them. The bigger the number, the better you are at backgammon. A lot of right-wing cis white men falsely perceive inclusivity and reparations as an attack on their race/heritage/whiteness. Well, I think it's because those situations, like, people, I think it's those times where people have a hard time reckoning with having done something bad or being even related to people who have done something bad. Because, like, and this is like an extreme example, okay? But, like, the families who will stand by a man who has been accused of molesting a daughter in the family. Like, I have, like, CSA in mind here because I was reading a story before stream today about it. But like, there are families who will defend men in their family who have harmed the little girls in their family. And, like, why is it that people do that? Like, well, it's probably because it's intolerable to think that this could have happened. Like, someone you know and care about could have done it, or someone who is close to you or related to you or just adjacent to you could have done something that horrible. Like, it's a reflection on you what someone close to you does because you affiliate with them. And, like, you would never affiliate with someone who would hurt little girls, right? There's some kind of, like, construction or something happening outside, and it's pissing me off. And if it doesn't stop soon, I might have to end the stream a little bit before I planned because it's fucking constant right now. I hope you can't hear it. I've had to mute myself. That's part of why sometimes I mute myself and then I don't, like, I'll accidentally leave it on, is because just, like, shit happening outside. Agender here. Gender takes traits and categorizes them into masc and femme buckets in Western concepts of gender. It's not arbitrary and usually stratifies power dynamics between them. Can't hear it? Okay. There's, like, it's like thumps or something. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on out there, but it's, and I keep seeing it on my, like, because it keeps happening while I'm talking. Like, I can see it popping up on my thing over here. Like, I'm like, there's no way you guys can't hear it. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say that gender is arbitrary or, like, that masculinity and femininity are arbitrary. But like, I do take issue sometimes with this idea that, like, what are the traits that we assign to masculinity? And, like, if you really look into it, some of the traits that we assign to masculinity are the same traits that we assign to femininity. It's just the context is different. Like, we think a woman is noble for, you know, the bleeding in the childbed and, like, the strength that requires, and we want to say, oh my god, women are so strong, like, it's crazy how they can give birth to a whole human being. And, like, that is physical strength and endurance. And so why are women not considered ideal for other areas of life where physical strength and endurance are required? Yeah, strong, but make it femme, exactly. No, I didn't do Deltarune. I didn't hear it. Nothing comes through your mic. We can barely hear you when you go get the box and talk. I mean, that's, like, I'm literally, like, fucking... If I'm not speaking and there's a big thump outside, I can see it. So, like, it definitely is showing up sometimes, but maybe it's, like, few and far enough between that you guys don't notice it. I don't know. came to the park for some fresh air, but it's starting to rain, so I'm gonna listen while I drive. Dude, I am so fucking ready for rainy season again. Like, I moved away from Kansas because I was fucking tired of summer, and it's the dry season right now, and it's gonna be at least 2 solid months before summer is over, and I'm like, I'm ready. Ready for the wet season. I love rain. I would just sit there at the park. I would be like, oh, it's starting to rain. Guess what? I'ma stand here. Yeah, of course, the juxtaposition of the phrase that growing some balls means, like, be a stronger person, and then balls being notoriously weak. Yeah. Oh boy. Drink more water, babes. Water's so good for you. So I think basically my conclusion is that there is nothing... Okay, as of an hour ago, Trump tells Congress to pass crime bill which would extend for another 30 days the federalization of DC police, and would allow him to deploy 800 National Guard to the city. Okay, so basically, like, there isn't a lot of update about what's going on in DC. There's attempts to stratify to reinforce power imbalances, but it fails to do so because the same traits are present at both times, just when it benefits arguments that reinforce sexism. Okay, sure, yeah, I can agree with that. I reinterpret the grow a pair of balls thing in the sense that maybe it's meant as a way that you should be strong despite having a weak spot. I don't know. Like, I always think, like, having some balls... Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see what you mean. Like, oh, that guy's got some balls. Like, he's proceeding even though there is a necessary, weakness implied here. I don't know. Sure. I can see that as a really, really, really charitable interpretation. I like your moon earrings. What are the ones behind it? Thank you. These are my rat jawbone earrings. Yeah, a world where grow a pair of balls actually means soften up. That's funny. Yeah, so these are actually the left and right side of a rat jawbone. So they're cute. I also have some bigger ones that are muskrat jawbones, but I decided not to wear those today. It'll rain here by tomorrow. Oh, is it? Yeah, I think I saw something about, like, it could rain in the valley this week. Just, like, after our big heat wave that we just had for the last few days, where it was, like, 102 degrees one of those days. But we have, like, a cool front coming in tonight? I want to say tonight. Ooh, yeah, chance of rain the next few days. Get me fucked up on some rain, dude. Oh, my God. And also, speaking of bones, there's also, like, I think this is a mole tooth in this little glass jar with some moss in it on my necklace. So yeah, we're embracing a new kind of aesthetic. I think that masculine and feminine are usually subsets of human virtues. The stories of Orpheus and Psyche are basically the same, but they primarily focused on one of these two subsets. I write some about Gothic feminine and masculine. Masculine Gothic is characterized by horror, and feminine Gothic is about terror. Oh, well, that's interesting. I think it's a fascinating distinction that I would like to read about more. Are you in the PNW? Fuck yeah! It was a whole ordeal to get here. It's been almost 7 months. It's crazy. Like, it's been longer than half a year that we've been here. It feels normal now. I still occasionally have these moments where I'm like, wow, it's fucking surreal that I am here. I'm 2,000 miles away from where I was born. It's taken a little bit of getting used to, but culturally, it's not too different from where we were before. People are super nice here also. Like, every time I run errands, like, People are mostly really nice. PNW means Pacific Northwest. Yeah, Bones. Western Washington, the good side of Washington. Yeah. I I made the decision based on like a couple of things, and one of the main ones was like how resistant is this area going to be to climate change? And so of course, like Eastern Oregon, Eastern Washington, oh my god, they're first of all they're deserts, second of all, it's like the country bumpkin part of the state, and yeah, I already came from there, so I don't need more of that. But I do kind of wonder, like, is a purple part of a blue state, or sorry, is a red part of a blue state even gonna feel that bad compared to actually being from a red state? I saw one person who was like, I'm from Georgia and now I live in a kind of conservative area of Oregon, and it is nothing like being in Georgia. Y'all need to calm down, like. But it might just be a cultural difference. Like, people here seem pretty cooperative. I think we've talked before about driving patterns and how I think that in places I think in blue states, people are more likely to be of a cooperative mindset of like oh yeah, I should volunteer, or I should pay more taxes, or I should contribute to charity. I should care about what happens to other people. They also tend to like drive better because they care about those values. And I think that there's like, we even looked it up recently. I do think that the instances of like road rage incidents are higher in red states. So it may just be as well that even conservatives here on the West Coast, even if they are conservative and they believe shitty things, they also just are part of a culture that tends to be more like polite, considerate, and caring of others. So that maybe just less likely to be some of the more insane, violent types of bigotry. But we do still have MAGA. We have people who've got Trump stickers on their cars. I see a bumper sticker that's like, what did it say? I saw a bumper sticker that was like, what? I thought this was America, with an American flag. And it's like, okay, so there's shit posters. Deserts with plenty of dry brush to catch on fire. Yeah, that's why I moved to the valley. It's like, even when there are fires here in the valley, we get like smoke season, sure, but we don't have like as many active fires because it's just more moist here. Like, we've got a big fucking river just going straight through the valley. Conservatives in blue areas are just edgelord larpers who'd piss themselves in a real red area. Maybe. We do have like Proud Boys here, and yeah, I do wonder if you were to like, I've never had the opportunity, but if I, as a liberal or progressive or whatever living in Oregon, if a conservative was in public and I was like, if I was like aggressive toward a conservative here, I don't know if they would respond the way that a redneck would in Kansas or something. I hate those fucking Oregonian stickers. Yeah, with like guns are fine, but get a room. I do find that very funny. As a leftist gun owner, I do find that very funny. It's like, yeah, me too, dude. It's not part of my personality. I heard that PNW is supposedly known for being passive-aggressive. Having grown up here, I don't see it. Have you experienced that? Mostly no, but I also don't have like really in-depth interactions with people. I'm not like making friends yet. I should be more on top of that, but I don't know. I think people are just nice. Passive-aggressive is a real Southern lady thing to do. Casual racism versus competitive racism. Oh, yeah, do you think so? Like, people in the South are trying to out-racist each other? That's funny. Should I introduce myself with my new name to my old church folks on Sunday? Dude, I don't know. How much of an issue do you want it to be? It depends. I feel like passive aggressive is like a Minnesota trait. I don't know. There's one street in my neighborhood which has Trump and American flags all over. The next street over is rainbow and solidarity fist flags. It's a real mixed neighborhood. That's really interesting. And like, I don't mind living in a place where there are mixed worldviews so long as everybody's being good, you know? Like, chilling the fuck out. But the problem is that those people, like, I am perfectly willing to live and let live with transphobes in my neighborhood so long as they don't do something actively transphobic. But the problem is that they cannot stop themselves from doing things that are actively transphobic. Like, they do not want to live in a neighborhood with me. That's the difference. I am fine with living in a neighborhood with a transphobe. A transphobe is not fine with living in a neighborhood with me. That's the problem. As someone who enjoys all pronouns, friends and people who only use one pronoun can cause me to doubt how I look. Do you have advice? What do you do to increase your pride slash joy slash affirming yourself? Oh, you mean, so if you, for example, use she slash they pronouns, but everyone around you is only calling you by she, or let's say you're using like they slash she pronouns and everyone's only using she. I can understand that that is a difficulty for some people, which has caused some folks to be like, well, fuck it, I'm dropping she. You are not allowed to use she for me anymore. Everybody has to use they now. Which I relate. It's frustrating. I have simply transcended to a place where I do not care what anyone thinks of me who is not my friend. And like, I'm only going to be friends with people who are cool with my pronouns. I'm just like, too old. I'm fucking too old. Like, I mean, if I would be willing to be friendly with someone, and I'm open to becoming deeper friends with someone who is willing to learn and interested in being non-shitty. And if they like mess up sometimes, I don't care. I literally did Skep Talk with Aaron Ra, and he, before I even had a moment to introduce myself, he introduced me with she pronouns, and it was not his fault. I mean, he didn't introduce me as like, Luxander's pronouns are she, her. He just called me she. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm not going to go to HR about it. It's not a big deal. And he's cool. He's fine. So I don't know. I just like, I don't give a shit anymore what people think. Like, yeah, I know that I look like a she, her to most people most of the time, and I just don't care. I used to say I was using any slash all pronouns, but people tend to just use specific gendered pronouns. Yeah. Like when you use any slash all, if they people will just default to your assigned pronouns because they're like, oh, well, this is easiest for me. Also, what do you do to increase your pride slash joy slash affirming yourself? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've just gotten to a place where I do whatever I want to do. And I check sometimes. I'm like, oh, hey, do I still have dysphoria about this? Yep, it turns out I do. And then I continue my life. Like, I don't know. I'm 15 years into it. So at a certain point, you're just like, I have other shit that I want to think about that isn't gender. And like, I love myself on a more base level. And so I don't have to work to accept my gender or any of my behaviors or anything. Yeah, switching from any all to they them exclusively. Yeah. What did you even just do? What do you mean? What did I do? By the way, why are so-called centrists really just right-wingers in disguise? Yeah, isn't that crazy? How people who are left-leaning don't ever feel the need to say that they're centrist in order to, like, hedge or gain acceptance or anything. Noah says, any/all is me saying I want to talk to you as little as possible. What are everybody's plans for the weekend? It is Wednesday now. I need to relearn how to do admin stuff in my chat. Like, I don't remember how to... and that's probably a thing that I need to brush up on before we get much more of a crowd here, like, in terms of growing the channel. The trolls never seem to know about the website. The trolls always hang out in the YouTube chat. So I guess it's less of a thing. I don't need to, like, purge people from the website chat very often. Not a damn thing, no plans. Oh no! I think we're going bowling with friends this weekend. And then like streaming on Sunday, obviously. I think I'm gonna start making Saturday Farmers Market like a weekly thing in order to get my weekly produce. Oh, it's fucking Alterac Valley weekend, so I'm gonna want to kill myself doing Alterac Valley over and over again. Healing up for my sleeve tattooing session, reading, and probably bottling mead. Nice. Oh, and don't forget, guys, we are going to be doing a charity stream with Alec Gunter and Conyer and Riverboat Jack and Shark Zero on Friday afternoon. And I'll let you know when that is going to be. Like, I'm going to just tell you when I'm online, and I'm going to hop online around 12 Pacific time. I'm off of accepting my gender and on going into debt for transition care. Yeah, shit. Doing B-Day streams of vampire movies for Senior Citizens Day on Friday. Then I'm grabbing anyone available to do stuff for my 40th. Hey, congratulations on birthday. Ooh. Little itchy. But yeah, happy Borf. I start, sometimes late in the year, I start feeling like, man, it's just about time for my birthday again, isn't it? And it's like, nope. It's still, like, how many months? Like 7 months away? Like, yeah, no, at this point in the year, I haven't even reached my 6-month point yet. So, yeah, I get that feeling sometimes around this time of year, and it's very strange. So, I guess just celebrate yourself. What is your opinion on furries? They're good. I like them. Technically, I kind of am one, in the most casual and loose sense of the word. There's trolls? Very occasionally. Sometimes, like, the stream will go to a mainstream audience, and then, like, the other day we had, like, 5 different accounts in here being assholes. Like, I think it was maybe, like, 1 or 2 people who just had multiple accounts. And they were trying to get a rise out of me. They were saying transphobic things, and then I just was very unimpressed with them, and so they kept having to ratchet it up until they were saying, like, insane shit about, like, jerking off to Holocaust pictures or something. and then I would block them finally. It's like, okay. But most of the time, no. Trans cat girl. How could you? We know damn well they aren't doing that in their spare time. Yeah. The thing was that they were being transphobic and trying to upset me, and they just weren't upsetting me. And so they had to escalate their rhetoric in order to try to upset me. And they probably felt all successful when I blocked them from the chat. They were probably like, LOL, like, you know, baby, progressive, trans person, like, can't handle the truth, whatever. It's like, I sat there and let you be idiots for 20 full minutes. Yeah, every time one of them was blocked, another one of them would be like, oh, the blocked guy was right. And also, you hate free speech. Like, yeah, you know, making me sit here and explain, like, that I, as a private individual, am not required to host their comments here. Yeah, why aren't you mad yet? It's so funny. And I guess part of the reason why it's easier is, like, when I am feminine, the people always say, like, oh, you're a man. And I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't hurt very much. It is a little bit more sore when people are like, I can tell you're a girl. I'm like, okay. But I still respond to those people by being like, you can always tell, huh? Because I like to keep things funny. Yeah, the sock puppeting was super obvious. And like the same name but spelled differently and stuff. Yeah, it was maybe like one or two people. Since I am a cis white guy, ignoring me is, in fact, a crime. Exactly. See this insane pattern on this skirt? It's weird. I don't even think I like this color and pattern on this skirt, but it's just such a great... It's like a salsa skirt. It's got like so much material. Yeah, X was right about his genocide fetish. True. Mafreeze Peach. Yeah. Oh no, I finished off my water. No. I drank in the water and now I am out of water. No. Yep, cis white men must be recognized at all times by all minorities. This is that entitlement of like thinking that you're entitled to an audience that I think like Elon Musk encapsulates that. Like the idea that that free speech means that you're entitled to an audience. It's like, that's not true. People are not obligated to listen to you. It's so funny how these are the same kinds of people who will probably say things like, what, you want to enslave doctors and force them to work for free in your society where no one gets paid money anymore? Like, no, obviously that's insane. But they will be like, me saying that like it's denying me my rights to delete my YouTube comments. Like, oh, so you are saying that I have to sit here and listen to you, that like I am obligated to sit here and listen to you even though I don't want to and I'm not being paid to. It's like, they just don't give a shit about consent. My God. I'm on a phone, so I can't make out your profile picture. It looks like a black hoodie. I thought someone's profile picture was a hamburger once, and it turned out to be their cat. Oh, okay, I don't know which one you're referring to, but yeah, that is funny. They're so tiny. Does YouTube have a way to shadow ban /block accounts? It would be nice to just hide their comments while wasting their time while they think they can still have their comments be seen. So I don't actually know how it works on the live stream, but I think that the way that it works on comments is that if I click hide this user, all of their comments go away. And I think that if they try to post a comment, I think it lets them, but then YouTube just eats it and it never gets published. And I also never see it for review ever again. Like if I hide someone from the channel, I would have to go into my channel settings and go find their individual username in order to unblock them. Like they're just gone for me, basically. But I don't know how it works on the live chat. But when I hide someone on the live chat, it also deletes all of their previous comments. So maybe it makes it obvious to them that I have blocked them. My phone keeps making noise. It's been nice taking pictures for Fansly again. It's like, I'm trying to feel cute. Oh my god, I can't wait till it rains. I'm so excited about the rain. Ferengi men on the interwebs. I've got a gaming group I do on Friday afternoons. What time is the charity stream? So the charity stream, I think, is going to basically be all day, starting at 11 p.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern. Because I think Alec is on Eastern time. So Eastern time, 2 o'clock is when it's going to start. And then I think it's just going to go into the evening. Like, I do not know how late it's supposed to go. Let me double check. I am going to be there starting at around 12 my time. So 3 p.m. Eastern. And then I'll probably be there for like 3 hours. Or at least I'm going to make myself available during that time. But when is it ending? When is it over? Let me go find the announcement in Alec server. Okay, yeah, it's just basically gonna be all day. And some of the people who are supposed to be there, Riverboat Jack Merrick is gonna be there. Tina 2, Shark 300, Ray Ivana, Conyer, Dubsy, Raycraft, Nyara VT, and then myself. So, yeah, it's just gonna be a little thing we do. We're playing games. It's just to play games and, like, hang out and chat. Oh, here it is. So starting at 2 p.m. Eastern time, ending at midnight Eastern time. So the whole afternoon, evening. There we go. Is there going to be a VOD? I don't know. It's not on my channel. I'm not streaming, so I don't know. I mod for some YouTube channels. Sometimes YouTube will hold a comment for review and I have to manually approve it or not. Sometimes, while I'm still reading the comment, they'll post a comment that's contingent upon the first comment, but YouTube let it through. Sometimes I will not approve the first comment so that they look like a crazy person. Oh, that's too funny. Also, if people have top chat selected instead of live chat, which I think top chat is the default, sometimes comments come in out of order anyway. So, tomorrow I have Takis. So I'll see you guys at noon my time on Takis. And of course, I always tell you guys in the in the Discord channel about when that's going to be. And Friday, I'll be on the charity stream for at least an hour or two. Or maybe up to like 3 hours. And I'll tell you guys in the Discord when that's going to be as well. Saturday is my day off. Although I have stuff to do on Saturday. And then Sunday, I'm planning to see you all again for stream. I'm trying to get this Mulan video done. Maybe I should see if I can just crack it out, like, over the next 2 days. I don't know. Good night, Xena. There's no reason for top chat, much less as a default. It helps to get rid of some spamminess. Who is on Takis with you? That's a great question. Let me find out. Arden. It's gonna be me and... Oh, wait, no. That's July. Hold on. I need to look at August. What's August? So for August, I am gonna be on tomorrow, the 14th, with Josie Caballero. And then I will be on the 28th with Ben. So, Josie and then Ben. No Luxander Arden team up this month. Sad. We've also started doing other shows that I might be on, so I'll let you know if I'm ever on any of the other shows as well. We're starting a new show called Calling It Now that we're doing several times a week. So, yeah. But yeah, with all that said, I'm going to see if my buddy is available to play games with us tonight. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. I will see you all tomorrow on Takis if you want to come over to see me on there. Don't forget to join Patreon if you want to. The little thing just popped up conveniently right as I'm about to hop off of here. So yeah, go ahead and check out Patreon if you want to get special little tidbits, little secrety things. And yeah. Love y'all. See you next time. Bye.